Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Mr. Langsley Blake, otherwise known, renowned, famous, infamous pastor. Good evening. How are you doing, Mr. Man of God? So we have two men of God in the chat, one reflective in the name, and one based on how he carries himself, how he presents himself, how he communicates. So good evening, everyone. And as I start the evening, the first thing I do is I look in the numbers. I mean, we're in a numbers game, people. We're in a numbers game. So I like to make sure the numbers are reflective of what we're trying to accomplish. So I appreciate you being here. We have about 3 topics to talk about, but as my new way of operating is, I have to play a little bit of my music to remind myself that I'm an aspiring musician. So I know some of you hate this, but now we just get over it. This is a different one. Yesterday was ball position. Today I'll play something else. So now forget over it, people. Now get over it. I'll do what I do. Eastern Circle, blessings. You hate the microphone and do him thing and them go. Here we go. Music. Them said the field is where dreams are made, but with JFF, dreams will fade. Cause me like it. Say if I don't like it, me can't help them. Our players can't shine and play. We need to have good leadership. We don't need no generalship. We don't want no 3-card man. Otherwise we'll stop being a fan. Fans want a game of delight, which will take them to new heights. Right now fans are in dismay because everything in this are red. All right, we only need 2 verses. Good evening, Guna. Good evening, Caribbean. We only need 2 verses. We know we can't take more than 2 verses. I'm going to go into 2 verses, and then we move on with the program. And by the way, we can't deal with the 28 people in our chat and 15 likes. Those things bother me. Hey, Jason. Hey, Mr. The price them. Hey, people. Let me just say this, people. Jason, I'm glad you brought this up. I saw the prices for the concert, people. I own a CM1. No, it's yeah, no, I try. It's part of taxi. You know, we say we don't want a 3-card advance, so it's part of it. Even though, as I've been telling people, CM people will give me a hard time about that. But I tell them, say, I heard them being called vultures. So now, which name you prefer be called? 3-card men are vultures. 3-card man could be you're creative, you're original, right? It means trickery. But when you're a vulture, scavenger, and you've been called out on national TV, then you can't talk to me about what YouTubers I say about you. That's all I have to say. Bless up, Chorus. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I saw the prices for the concert, people. If the stadium sell out for the concert, we don't want to hear nobody come and program talk about say ticket prices for football game. No bother with it. No bother with it. Me don't want to hear no talk about no price. Me see the prices them, for bleachers, grandstand, cycle track, on the field, right? So if you guys are going to that show, whether you're in the diaspora or you're in Jamaica, me don't want you to talk about no price, no other event in that Jamaica, period. No bother with it. Can't come to me about say, bro, price too high, and you guys show. So anyone who got a show, I can't talk to him about no price thing. I don't want to hear it. Bless up float management because you'll be a hypocrite if you do that. People, 21 likes can't do it for me on 42. We can't take 21 on 42. Those numbers don't work in the people because half the number. It's literally half the number. Right? It's literally half the number of people. So I'm build up the likes them so we can start talking about Sterling. Because I had 3 topics today. One was about Raheem Sterling and the disrespect that he receives in the English media and sometimes out of England because the media is very powerful in the people. The media is undefeated, including, by the way, some of the new media. Even though they might get check, and not gonna take no check. And then we're gonna talk about something which is sports related, but I want to broaden the context, which is if you have a choice to choose between money and your country, who you choose, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit because I have perspective on that. And then last but not least, we'll touch some Reggae Boy discussion, but we don't want to get too deep in the Reggae Boys because we have tomorrow, Thursday, and even Friday afternoon before the game to talk deep in the Reggae Boys. All right, so am I performing? Yes, I'm an invited guest, but I can't talk with them things there. So, can't talk with them things there. Get myself in that trouble. I start talking about certain topics. But I may have to say, if I got a concert there, I can't talk about no price or nothing. Tier 1 sold out. That means I talk about people. So none of I don't care what you want. None of come back, talk about say, the football price them too hard, $10 for bleachers and $35 for grandstand. That's too much, man can't afford that. But you can't afford to pay $150 and $700 and $1,000. That's sort of ridiculous numbers. And we just quote them in Jamaica dollars, make them so enough. Come people, hit the like button, man. 46 and not 27 likes. Come. Hit the like button, man. And stop me getting cranky, I don't understand the concept, actually. I don't understand it. Because hear some, and not even enough new music either, some old music in our year. I know I'm going to play so much of old music. You can't listen to it on my iPad, or my iPhone, or my computer. Now, I forgot on concert for hear it. But to be honest, I never really listen to certain artists anyway. What's that chorus? Is that $10? I'm not sure what you're saying. Is that $10? Yeah, I don't it's not something that I'm gonna be doing actually. I would go to Jamaica football game, but I not got a concert there. If I didn't go to the Budget concert because of my own principles, then I'm not going to that concert, people. So don't already start me up. Come and go Budget. People come here, come stay. If you go Budget, more than one of them flying from Atlanta and different places, not Georgia and all over the place. I'm just say, come and stay, but me not go. I enjoy myself. Can't tell nobody what to do. But me have my own way of operating and me never do that. So let's jump into this. And before we jump into the Sterling discussion, it was mentioned to me today that, we talked yesterday about the JFF and them canceling YouTubers and me being disagreeing with that idea because they're not canceling traditional media. But it was mentioned to me today, well, you see what? Here's an example of all YouTubers toxic because of some YouTubers now having some conflict, right? People have conflict every day. Maybe the traditional media, when they have conflict, they have different ways of resolve it. But YouTubers are no different from any other parties. They're going to have their conflict. And I don't get involved in those situations. I try to stay away from them. But it's their situation. If they have a conflict, they'll figure it out. But you can't use that as an example to say, you see, all YouTubers, them toxic. Because traditional media sometimes have it. I just saw Ten Hag have big issue with the reporter from, where was it from? The Mirror, who asked him that question. And he didn't take it well, right? Basically, man is saying the same old thing we're seeing every week, not get no difference, and him get vexed, get 9 feelings. So, yeah. So it's not just to make you love the yeah, I guess so. Exquisite saying, cranky live, you got to understand that football is not important to Jamaicans, but party on stage shows. Yes, I agree. In fact, people decide not to play in Copa if they go party, so I can understand that. Everybody got to do their own thing. I shot my skill. Yeah, Ricardo, you tell me something not good. When I have no future at all. And I'm following your lead, Ricardo. I agree with you. I have zero future in this business, but I still am going to do my thing and play whatever music. See, I haven't made this song in a while because it'll discourage me. So I'm gonna get discouraged. Easy. Nah, I've been busy though. I've been busy. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I appreciate that. Bless up, Jeremiah. Thanks for being here. People, I was gonna come in, just hit the like button, man. Don't just make me just go get miserable and cranky. Just hit the like button now, so we don't have to have this continuous dialogue about that. Come on, hit the like button. Now start the program. Hit the like button, people. And if you hit the like button, we can start talk about Sterling, and then we can jump in a very good topic. We want to do a contribution to this actually, because I have some perspective on this. But we want to do a contribution around the concept of controversies, money. I love to have that dialogue. And this came out of the whole sports with like Ivan Toney going to Saudi Arabia. But I sort of expanded it. And if you know, so on the cover, me put somebody on the cover, you know, because I hear some YouTuber who is well renowned talking about the finance minister going to the IMF. So we want to have that dialogue. And we want the main dialogue to be Sterling and that. We don't really want it to be the Reggae Boyz, but we'll go into that, right? And until December 31st, I could have shot until tomorrow, not gonna make no difference. You're gonna run me off a stage. I don't love both of them. Me can't take Boeing. Me can't take Boeing star. So I mean, I'm gonna record them. Won't even go to so. I mean, I'm booming for the stage. Cause first of all, them don't want to see nobody else. Then come to see one artist. Me not care who the preview is. Me not care who are introduced. They don't want to see them. And if you bring somebody like a Chris Brown to come introduce, it's not gonna work. They don't want that. So there is no way. There's no way that's gonna happen. Whereby you're gonna want the artist. This is not like budget concert and bring up Burson and people. But wouldn't do that star. I wouldn't want to be that introducing artist. Let the man go do him show. Make him run him 101 track while him have historical track and some new one. And then we see what happens. I think you need to put the same drum. But Stefan Wright. Hey, Stefan Wright, I disagree with you. Because people tell me that them in them bathroom, they must sing Cranky Life. So I don't know what you're talking about. I put effort in Cranky Life. I didn't put effort in the other two songs as much. I put effort in the Cranky Life. I think you see Cranky Life, I'll have video. And the video are matched to the song. What are you talking about? You see me I talk about people, disprove this point, people. This point is proven. Whereby everyone has their perception of what they deem to be good or not good. And we can't force our perception on other people. I'm telling you. I was at the park the other day on Sunday, and I talked to a couple of people. They're known in this space. I won't mention their name. And one was saying, yeah, man, I find myself singing in my bathroom sometime. But then somebody will say, Cranky, that song now sound terrible. So we all review what's good and bad, right? That's why we all got to be tolerant of other people's ideas, right? We always are tolerant, because if you don't, then you can't force your view on somebody else. You can't force your view on somebody else. Oh, okay. So you're saying the opposite. Okay. But you know, Cranky Life took a month, you know. Them song I took like a week. Me just say, you know what? Me have idea, put down on paper. No. What I would love to do actually, because people don't seem to realize this. These are all in my little, I wouldn't call it a studio. I have like a room, I may have some TV screen and a couple of computers. I'm gonna just go up on my computer and do it. I would love to take a hit. I won't be a DJ or anything, people. I mean, not necessarily carried away. But just try something professional and see it come out. Because I think I can write actually. I'll pat myself in the back and say I think I can write a little bit. But music is different from what you think it is. You just sit and watch it and think, boy, it's easy. Not that easy at all. It's like everything is in life. It's like people on the football field. We say, okay, man, bad pass. So him turn the ball over and I realize it takes certain skill. That's why these people are doing a certain level. I don't have that skill. That's why I respect the musicians. The more you get involved in a discipline, the more you do the discipline, the more you realize what effort it takes. People, 39 likes, 73 watching. You know, so I'll stop at some point, people. That's why I'm going to start Sterling it, you know. No, so I'll stop at some point. That's why I talk around the subject. If the likes don't go up, me can't work because me shut down. Then what happen? Me get shut down. So the likes don't have to go up. Me shut down people. So the likes don't have to go up, people, before me stand talk about Sterling. And then we can go in on one of my favorite topic for the evening is not the Jamaica football. It's going to be controversies money. Well, Ricardo, give me credit for something. Right. Yeah, Ricardo. Thank you. Me take it, me get it. Now I get greedy, Ricardo. I just take that and just run with it. I run it. Come people, hit the like button. I 42 there. When we get to 60, me start talk about Sterling. Come people, hurry up. And then we're getting to my favorite topic. Sterling is about 15, 20 minutes. Controversies money is about an hour. And then the rest of us get to the Jamaica football thing. And 15 minutes more for call answer. Um, so Jason Gunnar is saying that, well, I guess we're talking about England, Jason. Come people, bring the likes over 60, 71 in that chat. And a few people came and left. So please hit the like button. Yeah, more people would probably drop out. Some people haven't had a good rest, So wouldn't expect that. And the whole thing about want to mention something else. I'm going to touch on other topics before we go into my main topics. Yeah, I like the word. I use the word. I use my DJ name, Cranky G. Chorus. I use Cranky G. So I've been questioning as to why the JFF hasn't released the talent evaluation ecosystem development, talent development ecosystem document. And the view is that look, it's for the JFF and its constituent. I'm not sure what that constituent entail because we keep hearing the new coach mentioning it, right? This is the second press conference he had. I think the second press conference, and he's mentioned it again, right? That he was involved in this initiative, what this initiative entail. That's why he knows there's talent on the island. So I think the JFF should come out and talk about it because if it's been brought up over and over again and we have no idea what it entails, I'm not sure that's right. And I think fans are part of the stakeholder community because, well, some fans got a game. I mean, go say we go game, but on a so bad star, that's why the JFF can't see them saying sometime because it's not so bad for go a game. At least the last game, we don't make an effort, but on a so bad for go a game, then you can't say, why I contribute to the pool for influence them. You know, for do better, man. That's part of the problem, So them can't then say anything and them say, we're not going to give anyway, so why do we care? But I would love to see the document to see what are all the things that FIFA brought out that we need to do. And then for the JFF to give us a progress report as to how they're prioritizing and how they're addressing them. Right? I would love to see that. But anyway, can't keep talking or leaving people. 48 people. I'm sure we're going to get to 50 in 2 seconds. So 48 people. Now hit the like button. 22 of you have not hit the like button. In fact, it's more than that. Probably about 30 of you haven't hit the like button. And so I have to hit the like button, people. So let's talk about Sterling, actually, because I think it's important to bring up certain things because actually he's Jamaican, actually. And it was my understanding at one point that he wanted to play for Jamaica, but he was turned away. Here's what I mean to understand people. So let's go to Sterling background. Don't tell me where in this whole equation could this player be turned up by Jamaica. We're going to go through him history, right? So he was born in Kingston in 1994. So Sterling is 28, right? Or 28, come on, December. Thinking about it, yeah, December 18 born. So I'm turn 28. Still in prime, right? He moved to England at the age of 5, grew up in London, went to QPR, was there from he was 10 the academy. At 15, gets sold to Liverpool. And at 17, the Liverpool team. So tell me if the QPR academy at 10, that means he might play some decent football, I forget, but at 15, where in that time then come on Jamaica and Jamaica's not good enough? Because I know Jamaica told Antonio he wasn't good enough, but Antonio said yes, he needed to improve. Sterling seemed to behave good from day one. And I know Calvin Phillips also wanted to play for Jamaica when he was younger. And Ben Godfrey is my understanding. So we have all these players who have played in the Premier League. He turns 30. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 94, 6. So we can't add 30 in December. Thanks for that, Jason. 94, I think 24 and 48 versus 6 and 410. So thank you. Correcting my math. We don't know what we do for our living. Actually, it's embarrassing. But anyway, so at what age did he come to Jamaica? Because if you go QPR Academy at 10, Liverpool by him at 15 for 450, with Adams got to 2 million. I still not understand when he come to Jamaica and we tell him no. Huh? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, we understand the heritage thing, people, and it's sad. Because I'm gonna digress. I'm gonna digress enough tonight. I heard someone talking about Paul Young complaining that there's not enough JPS players in the current squad. And Paul Young, as many of you know, was part of the Reggae Boyz team back in Simone's days. Good footballer. I think he spent a lot of time in the States. But Paul Young, I don't understand Paul Young, what you're trying to say, Paul Young. You're confusing me. Here's why you confuse me, Paul Young. because there are a number of local developed players in the squad. Paul Young, please tell me how many players from the local Brazil league are in the Brazil squad. Please tell me how many Uruguayans are in the Uruguayan squad. If the players are good enough, don't they export them, Paul Young? Isn't Jamal Waite in the squad? Isn't Andre Blake in the squad? Isn't Richard King in the squad? Isn't Damian Lowe in the squad? Isn't Adrian Reed in the squad? Isn't Kaim Dixon in the squad? Isn't Norman Campbell in the squad? Wasn't Liam Bailey in the squad? What the hell are you talking about, Paul Young? I don't like create controversy stuff. I don't want to be in the news and be known. And then we have YouTubers carrying this garbage. Garbage. May I call it garbage? Most countries that export players, Kaim Dixon was just in the JPL, he went overseas. Norman Campbell was in the JPL. Cephas normally comes sometimes, but he may be having some club situation. Nicholson's in the squad. What are we talking about? Why do we like to keeping this Bowser's tank float? Why we like to keep, that's something I digress now, people, from Sterling. Why we like to keep bringing up these controversies every single window? People like you, Paul Young, you're a cancer. Want to like create something when I did it. Look much players I named out in every single position on the field. And you can talk about this more JPLs playing the squad. If they were good enough, they would have been called. Because what you're saying, and you're going to say, well, we don't mind the foreign-born players in the squad. No, they're Jamaican citizens for your Paul Young. They're Jamaican citizens. They got naturalized. Just like you come to America and get naturalized. Just like Andre Blake got naturalized. And they're citizens of the country. So they're entitled to all rights and privileges of that country. And because you're born in Jamaica upon the island, because make you Jamaicans. And the perception is, and that's the JFF too, that only people born on the islands count as Jamaica. May I call it JFF for that? And may I have right to say that? I'm not turn too bad star. You guys have become annoying. Every window we have the same crap over and over. And then on the what? No blame YouTubers. When you put out the nonsense, YouTubers I encourage you now, can you put out the nonsense? I put out, and me I talk about it, so I encourage the nonsense. But if I talk about it, because me watch it on YouTube today. Done with the nonsense, Paul Young. Done with the nonsense. We had JPL players play against Trinidad, and they beat us one time in Jamaica, and then draw with us one time. That Trinidad team, we would go about 6 in a Copa. And it's a better Trinidad team that plays in Copa. If we didn't have some of those overseas-based players, but locally developed, and those born outside Jamaica, we would be like the Trinidadads of the world. And you know, so some of my friends will beat me for this, or we'd be like the Antiguas of the world. That's what we would be. Because the local JPA players, even though some of them can play, they're not where they need to be from an international stage. That's a fact. You may not like it, Paul Young, or other people in Jamaica who keep spreading this narrative. It is what it is. Get over yourself. Move on. Talk about something else. It's so annoying watching you guys just trying to create division in the country and to create division among players and create division among fans. That's all you guys are doing. And he wasn't the only one to say it. There was another person who was on there saying the same nonsense. Oh, we bring in all these players time after time and it hasn't worked. Do you know where you would be if you didn't bring all these players time after time? You think you'd be winning Copa and winning Gold Cup and even consider qualifying for the World Cup? What are we talking about? We just saw the other 20 team play. What are you guys talking about? This is unbelievable. We just saw the under 20 team where we excluded players from overseas. We saw the under 20 play 2 years ago in Latin America and played much better. We decided not to include any overseas. We had 5 overseas players. Most of them didn't start in those games. The one that looked okay was Welsh. We had 1 player from that team in this national team. What are we talking about? Boy, man, I tell you, I'm not toxic, you know. I thought it was YouTubers who were toxic. I'm not toxic. I'm not toxic star. I'm going to take toxicity to a different level. Because your name is Paul and you play for Jamaica, that means your opinion matters. No, it doesn't. Because you're talking garbage. If you don't like it, you're up on the program, Paul. You can come talk to me. You're chat garbage. You're divisive. And start the nonsense again. And some of these YouTubers, them feel the same way. Them start them same nonsense too. I mean, I talk about YouTubers now. But some of us feel the same way. And start the same nonsense. I'm not done with the nonsense, man. You guys are annoying. Anyway, let's go back to Sterling. Annoying like hell. Same divisive thing. We want to bring our community together. We're not in the divisiveness. And maybe I'm more sensitive to these people because I was born overseas. Even though I'm a Because I have my Jamaican citizen. They can't talk to me. Me a citizen. None can't tell me nothing. No can't disown me. Whether I not like it, no can't disown me. No care one. One disown people like me, or no can't disown me. Change your citizenship process. No make nobody who born outside Jamaica with my Jamaican heritage get me citizenship. Then we say, you know what? We let it go. Otherwise, go away. So I'm have to say. Anyway, back to Sterling. So people, I don't understand why people. I don't understand people. I don't understand how come Sterling went to Jamaica, and then he couldn't. We think that he wasn't good enough, and he's born in Jamaica. He's not even an English-born person. But anyway, just think about some of Sterling accomplishment. People don't hit the like button, man. 61 likes, and just make me just miserable, you know. Come on, people, hit the like button, man. You me I beg. Me I start begging the cabinet. People sent me to. Somebody told me the other day, you know what? Your strategy, it may be effective, but it's too direct. So I'm trying to use euphemism, people. I'm trying to be softer. But if me nasty likes them, I know me how do. So I'm just telling them from now. I don't threat, I know warning. I know where I go. So just go to Sterling history. I mean, no Sterling history. At Liverpool, Sterling, they offered him £100,000 a year. I think Sterling's agent, and here's another thing, people. I'm going to say this. When I think about how agents are, you know, normally in English football, agents not get no money unless people move. So they make their money. It's not like the US where the agent gets 5%. Normally, it's about 5% of your compensation. So if you get a big contract, then get 5% of it. In England, it's now the clubs who pay the agents when the players move. You know, the players employ the agents. Don't ask me how that works because it doesn't make no sense. And yet, a lot of times what happens is the agent will instigate move because that's how them get paid, right? Why do they do it? Now the player will get more money. Most time they move for more money. But I think that Sterling move from Liverpool to City was instigated by his agent. Obviously, Sterling, he was being offered 100K now when he was like, 19 when he's at Liverpool, which is enough money. Enough money if you're a 19, 20-year-old. And yet his agent pushed to go to Man City. Now, to be honest, it worked out much better when he went to Man City, right? All the titles, more money, more accolades. But we'll get into that. But I think he's one of the most misunderstood players in the Premier League. And to me, the most disrespected player in the Premier League by a good distance, right? If you look at his accomplishments, he's won 3 Premier Leagues. He's won an FA Cup. He's won 5 League Cup. He was Player of the Year one time. He was Young Player of the Year one time. So if you look at his history and his accomplishment, it's significant. And we're going to get into the stats, people, because the stats are important. I'll see the stats in a little bit. Let's talk generally about this. We're going to get into the stats because the stats will show you that, and I'm tying these things together as to why I'm not buying what Steve McLaren is saying about young players. Come on, come back to that now. All these things me are linked. Some of these topics, me think about them in terms of how they link together, not just talk about them, right? I'm sure at some point Sterling may say, you know what, I wish I play for Jamaica. I'm going to put up them nonsense of it, David. Now, he's played for England since 2012. He played the 2014 World Cup, 2018 World Cup. He was supposed to have played in our 2020 World Cup. He was supposed to have played the last World Cup, but he had problems with his family. He had to go back to England, but he was being phased out then. He played 2016 Euro and 2020 Euro. Do you guys remember? The first World Cup he played, he didn't score any goal. He was England's best player. To me, he was England's best player. 2018 World Cup. Not 2014, 2018. He was England's best player. He then played the Euro in 2020. He didn't score a goal, right? Subsequently, they played against Spain, and I think he just destroyed Spain. But he was getting a lot of criticism in that World Cup. Even though Harry Kane was a golden boot, Harry Kane was poor. He scored 7 goals. To me, he was poor. If you look at the style of play. And he probably should have passed the ball that he didn't pass to Sterling to score against Croatia. Probably would have won that game, if you guys recall this. Bless up, RJ. Thanks, Amen. Thanks for being here. And it was interesting, actually, when he played in the Euro. He scored 3 goals. He was dominant in the Euros until, what's his name, started to play more defensive football, so them lose, Southgate. So, and there's been a lot of controversies with Sterling, not caused by Sterling, to me, caused by the media. And the only black person, so this racist part of this, people, the only black person I've ever seen in the English media that's prominent is Darren Lewis, who's been deputy editor of the Mirror from God knows when to when God knows when. Always deputy, never the editor. So when you're deputy, you can't make no decision. Editor make most of the decision. And the English press, is not the fairest press. And some people in the English press are racist, and the commentators are racist. And some people don't like to say that. It is true. So he got beaten for the contract dispute with Liverpool, that he's greedy. And that's what players do. They negotiate, and if they can't get what they want, they move. And Liverpool fans haven't forgiven him, right? And he had a lot of backlash from that. Says greedy went to Man City, because Man City had money then. And we see a lot of players do this. Grealish left Aston Villa. A lot of players leave a lot of clubs, right? But he got bashed by the English press more so than he should have been. And he was a young kid who's taking the advice of his advisors and his agent. He had a gun tattoo, M16 tattoo on his leg, and he got beaten for that. He was promoting violence and promoting this, when what the kid was doing was saying, look, my dad got killed. I grew up in Kingston, difficult neighborhood. My dad got killed, so this is my remembrance for my dad. They weren't buying an explanation, and they beat him for that. He has spoken about racism, which people don't like, but I remember him getting battered at Chelsea when he played for City once, how racist they were. And he's basically shown the difference between when he talked, because Sterling is very articulate, people. And you Jamaican footballers need to understand this. It's important to be technical on the field. It's also important to be articulate off the field and conduct yourself with a certain way, with a certain level of professionalism. Very important. So if you're going to skip the school because you're a big baller in Jamaica, because I've seen that, you need to make sure you're good in the classroom, because it helps you and it helps your brand when you're going to play professional football, and that's your vocation, right? And his comments about racism and difference between whites and blacks in terms of how they're treated sparked a lot of discussion in the British media. One thing that stood out to me was, I think, when he bought his mom a very nice house, and they talk about how he spend his money and how he waste his money and how he do other things. You're buying a house for your mom. When Phil Foden did the same thing, nobody said a peep. They praised him for it versus critiquing him. And here's another thing which showed that racism. When Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood were in, I think it was Norway, for a game England played, and they brought girls into their room, they're youngsters, I think one was about 19, one was 20. Phil Foden got an England team almost immediately after that. Mason Greenwood didn't get back in the England team. Double standards. Double standards, people. Right? Sterling, and I'll show you the stats in a minute. You can see the stats put him among some of the top players of his generation in the Premier League at a minimum currently in terms of goals, assists, and impact. And his trophy haul is significant, obviously, if you play for Pep Guardiola. That be the case. People like to say he's not world class, but if he's not world class, he's a very, very good player. Right? His goal record is very, very good. His goal contribution per game is very, very good. He's consistent. His last 2 years of Chelsea haven't been great. Scored 8 and 10 goals in total. Right? But it goes to, and I know that Palmer has done well at Chelsea. People say, look at Palmer versus Sterling, the more seasoned vet. But sometimes it doesn't work well for some people. And we'll see and now he's at Arsenal, and I'd love to have him because I'm sure he's going to do well. Now, let me go to this. I'm going to try to go to the stats because it's important to show the stats and show what the stats entail. But I don't think people give Sterling his due. I think it's unfair. There's a lot of reasons for that. And here's my view on this, which is, and I know McLaren talked about kids who are born in England. Yes, they should. It's right that they want to play for it's right that they should play for England. I hate to tell you this, McLaren, but some of those kids, and I've seen it, they don't like the racism in your country. They don't like how it works in your country. They don't feel comfortable in the country they were born in, and they feel more comfortable and more accepted when they come to Jamaica, except for people like Paul who are them circuitous way of saying none of it come. Are there people like Stewart in Jamaica? Are they head of the JPL? Are those people who have the quota system? I call them out. Because those kids, when they come play for their heritage country, as they come up with a new name, where this new name heritage come from, they ain't no heritage nothing. They're a citizen of Jamaica. The ones them who qualify Jamaica, they're a citizen. They're no heritage. They don't know heritage thing. When you become a citizen, you're no longer heritage. You want to call it heritage. Come with this new fancy name about heritage. Nonsense. They're citizens, just like yours truly, by the way. Here are the stats, people. Here are the stats. And I just pull up the sort of more tenured wingers in the Premier League. We're not talking about centre forwards, wingers. You could even use it for centre forward number because they're better enough centre forwards. You see Mo Salah here, off the chart stats. 540 appearances, 460 starts, but Mo Salah is Egyptian. He's not English. He contributes almost seven, 3/4 of a goal a game. You call it that, right? Right? It's not a goal per game, but it's almost there. Those are phenomenal stats, right? Son, who plays for Tottenham, also good stats. His is at almost every contribute a goal almost every 2 games. Look at Raheem numbers, people. Not far off Son's numbers. Son is highly rated. Salah is viewed as one of the best Premier League player ever. Some people may say he's probably the best, but Thierry Henry and others will dispute that. So his numbers are ridiculous. Look at Son's number and look at Sterling's number, much far up. Sterling's numbers are better than Jared Bowen, who is better than Rashford. And I use about 300 plus games as the numbers. Look at Grealish number, people. Now, Grealish is in the England squad. Grealish costs £100 million. Grealish make over $300,000 a week. Look at Grealish numbers. He's Caucasian. He's white. Some people don't know what that means. In white. The numbers here is over 300 games. The man has 1 every 3 games, while Sterling is 1 every 2 games. There's no comparison. There's no comparison between. Yet, he gets a lot of commendations, how he holds the ball up well. He slows down the play. How he does this well and how he's a brilliant footballer and they love him. But they maybe love him for his drinking because he's always out partying and getting drunk. But what else are you loving him for? He ain't producing. He's been replaced by Savino and what's his name from Belgium in the team. And he's cost £100 million, people. So when they sing this nonsense and when they carry on about some of these things, you wonder what's the rationale for the different treatment of Sterling versus Jack Grealish. Grealish cost £100 million. Sterling wasn't cost 100. I think he cost 49 when he went to City and about similar number, about 50 when he went to Chelsea. So his total 2 transfer doesn't equal Grealish transfer, just about the same. He make about the same money as Grealish make. His numbers are materially different from Grealish in terms of contribution and production. And yet, he doesn't get the same recognition. Grealish is loved. There's no reason why not to love Sterling. Except his shade may not be what they want it to be. And the writers are the ones who influence the English public a lot. What they say sometimes even become law as it relates to football. And people don't seem to realize this. And when you call them out, people say you're crying wolf. And you bring up, when I had this program, I did this a while ago about Saka and how they labeled Saka because England had lost the game. People complained that I was not being fair. I got so much comments of that from people who have the Caucasian in the UK is amazing, actually. And I have to laugh because I've been there, done that. They treat him differently. He doesn't get the acclaim he should get. They treat Grealish like he's the second coming of the Messiah. And Grealish is of ordinary numbers for an ordinary football. Okay, what anybody want to say? Yes, he may hold the ball up and turn and spin, but the man has scored 51 goals in 287 games. That's almost 1 in every 6 games. Look at Sterling's numbers. So I don't understand the logic, people. I don't understand the logic. I don't understand it could only be one thing for me, as far as I'm concerned. Sterling is articulate, doesn't give trouble, never gets in trouble, always trying to do the right thing. Yes, he had a fight with Joe Gomez, but that was in training. People have fighting training all the time. And he was punished by Southgate for it. I don't know what instigated. He and the kid are friends again. So that's for me, that's the rationale as to why he doesn't get the accolade. And I'm loving him at Arsenal. I think he's going to take Martinelli's game. People talk about he's going to come on the bench and support Saka, and he's going to, substitute and support Martinelli. No, he's going to take Martinelli's game. Sterling is a smart footballer. Yes, he will miss the goal here and there. Yes, he doesn't have the best left foot, but he's a smart footballer. And when you're technical and have football acumen, those are the attributes you need to be successful. People, please hit the like button, man. 114 people, 79 likes. Come on, people, hit the like button. So the view of a lot of fans in the UK even talk about Sterling. I don't want Sterling on my team. Man, you fans that don't want Sterling. A fan club who are going south continuously that have no wingers who are in Sterling's class. They have what? Diallo. They have Garnacho. And they have Rashford. Rashford's stats are decent. They're going to knock Rashford, but Rashford has not played well in a while. Rashford was good year before last, then he was poor last year. He's on and off. So when we say we have these fans from these teams, I wouldn't want Sterling at my club, What are we talking about? Yes, if he gets game this time this season, I believe so. Jason Gunner, he's going to hit the ball out of the cover. He's motivated. Nothing like a good motivated footballer who is a good footballer who has pedigree. Nothing like it. Come, people, hit the like button. About 35, about 40 of you have not hit the like button, people. 30 something of you. Can't count to this evening. 30 of you have not hit the like button. Please do so. Yeah. Yeah, but it's disappointing, people. It's very, very disappointing. I don't know why he gets so much grief. People like Simon Jordan, who is the previous owner of Crystal Palace, who is very influential in the media, who talks about a lot of sports, including boxing and football, and influences a lot of people's perspective. First of all, Simon Jordan is an anti-player person, an anti-manager person, actually. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Big up yourself.
What do you have to say? Good evening.
Sterling. I wanted Sterling at United, right? On a loan deal at least. Or, there was a talk about a swap deal. But in any capacity, I would have taken him at United, barring the big wages, right? But,
You mean barring the big wages? It doesn't come without the wages.
Well, isn't he on like 200 or something? Or
no, it's 300. 300. Don't dub down his number. 300. But
so
you have Rashford on 300 plus.
Yeah, but Sancho was just on that as well, and we kind of basically get rid of him,
But you can't put Sancho on Sterling. I see him sentence,
No, I'm just saying, like Ratcliffe and the team, they spoke about like even Everton had spoke about like they want to cut wages and these type of stuff. They don't want to just like give players, that big amount of money off the bat. But pertaining to Sterling, right? Speaking to a lot of United fans, I think one of the reasons as to why some United fans at least wouldn't have wanted a Raheem Sterling is because it's at the stage where the club is at right now and the development of the team. I think Sterling suits at Arsenal more compared to United. Not saying that he wouldn't add something to this United team, but I think for him, it would be better to be at Arsenal, seeing that you have been challenging Manchester City for the last couple of years. And it's a proper system. There's continuity there in terms of the progress. And I think the last thing Sterling would want is to come at United. Yes, you can add something to the team. But if the team is not playing to a certain standard to help to get the best out of you, you just put yourself in a position again where it's similar to Chelsea, where you're just not performing. You know what I'm saying? Because the environment isn't particularly good in terms of how the team is playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the team was good and performing to a level, then I think it would have suited him more. But in all fairness, I just think Arsenal is the better chance or choice for him. But one thing I would say with Sterling, right, Frankie? I think what Sterling doesn't have compared to like a Marcus Rashford and certain other players. Off the top of my head, I can't think about a lot of black players in the Premier right now, at least like at the big clubs that are like standout players. But I think what Rashford has compared to Sterling is he has always had PR on his side. You know what I'm saying? And even though he faces a lot of criticism from the media, I don't think it's anywhere as close to what Sterling has received over his career. And Rashford hasn't done anything in football compared to Raheem Sterling, who has won multiple trophies, etc., etc. But there's always some form of excuse from the media for Marcus Rashford. But when it's Sterling, people don't even go after his performances. People go after his personal life in terms of how much houses him buy, the tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I would agree, actually. I mean, look, I think it's been tough I don't know how he deals with it. I don't know how some of these players deal with it, actually, because some of the criticism is consistent and over the top, and the racism is over the top. I mean, you remember at the Euro, that's why Sterling didn't take the penalty at the Euro. and I'm glad he didn't. When Sancho took it, I know why Southgate would put on two players in the last minute. So Saka, Sancho, and Rashford took the penalty, and they all missed, and the racism was ridiculous. Yet Harry Kane didn't get the same response when he kicked the ball into the stands or back to Tottenham from Qatar. Yes, he got some grief, but it was nowhere near what those kids got. Right? Mm-hmm. So there are two different way of treatment for these players based on who they are and what their persuasion is.
Yeah, definitely. As I said before, I just don't think Sterling has always had that PR on his side from early stages in his career compared to like a Marcus Rashford. And, it shouldn't be that you need to have PR to be a fan favorite of people so that you don't receive abuse. It shouldn't be that. But
so how do you explain Grealish? Because his numbers are ordinary.
Yeah, yeah, Grealish. I just think like I don't know if I want to say the word racism, right? I mean, there's a shade of that when it comes down to the comparison between the backlash that both players would receive. But you're right. He was signed on his release class 100 million. His performances haven't been up to standard, right? And he receives nothing, no backlash compared to what Raheem Sterling receives. But you know what people always peddle out about Grealish? Oh, he might not be the same Grealish at Aston Villa, but he does the hard work or whatever the case is. Grealish has only had like one good season at Manchester City,
Yeah,
or
no,
maybe one and a
hard
half.
work. Hard work is for journeymen, because hard
Yeah,
work is innate to you being a footballer. And in the Premier League, everybody got to run back and play defense, and everybody got to play offense, right? So it's total football. So this concept about hard work, yes, he's worked hard. Was at Aston Villa. Maybe Aston Villa was given too much latitude. He was bought for his offensive capabilities, and if you look at his numbers for Man City, there's nothing to write home about. In a team, when they say, "Oh, Sterling scored a lot of goals for Man City because they were in a great team," well, why isn't Grealish doing the same thing? Why isn't
well,
Grealish doing the same thing?
people would say, oh, that's like not his role or whatever the case is. Okay, that might not be his
What do you
number
mean
and
that's not
his
your role?
style
It's
of
every
play.
winger's role to score goals.
Yeah,
Every
no,
winger's role.
but he's a different type of player to Sterling. But even with that being said, his performances should be better than what he has shown at Manchester City so far. His production, it should be up, because if you look at the wingers over there, the Mars, the Sterling, etc., they have good numbers as wingers. And Jack Grealish is like not even hitting like double digits in the Prem.
Jack Grealish will not score 100 goals in his entire career of playing football. He probably won't score 100 goals.
But I
Raheem
think with
Sterling has
Grealish,
172. Son has 208. Salah has 271.
I think with Grealish, I don't think Grealish really cares to be honest to that extent. I think he wants to play football, but remember I did tell Aston Villa, so listen, if a big club for him, then I just want to go. He can collect a couple trophies already. I don't think Grealish is that type of player that has the hunger to like be that star player, to have that stardom.
Yeah,
But he
but
just
how
wants
do you
to.
get into England, Quad? If Lee Carsley is picking many young players nowadays and refurbishing the squad because he left out people like Walker, how does Grealish get into the team who didn't go to the Euro? What does Grealish people? Here's the thing. Here's the racism in the whole thing. Let's call it what it is. We haven't played any football since the Euro. He didn't go to the Euro because he wasn't good enough given what the team was. How he get into this team? Please tell me how he get into this team. I don't hear the English press beating him for being in this team. He didn't go to the Euro because Southgate said, you're not good enough to go to the Euro. You're not playing well enough. He hasn't played any football of note because he was on the bench of Man City the first 2 games to say he should be in the team. How Lee Carsley calling him into the team? Please explain to me. Then everybody's like, Sterling can't get back into the team as if he's this ancient person. It's amazing how we think.
You normally find that like, all right, Sterling hasn't been playing any brand of football since recently, like as in like performing. Neither has Grealish. But like I guess I could just say it like ultra like white players specifically, Ranky, them could have retired, them still get a call up.
Yeah, no. Here's the point though. At one point last year for Chelsea, there was a space of about 5 games where Sterling was hitting the ball off the cover. I remember his game, he dominated some game, and then it was a time England team got called. He wasn't got called. He didn't get called. And some other players who weren't playing well got called. So the point is this, which is that Grealish is a regular everyday footballer, the way his stats show this to me. And when you see him play, he holds the ball up, he slows the plays down. He looks brilliant on the ball, he looks like a brilliant footballer. His stats doesn't warrant the recognition he gets.
Well, let me ask this, Frankie, before me, seeing that you're older than me, like, for me, you don't think that the coaches are like outright racist, or it's more like the media and the perception? As I said, like, whatever the media puts out,
I can't draw aspersions on coaches and how they make decisions. There are racist people in the media. There's no doubt about that. It permeates the society in England. Racism is there. It's still there. It's sometimes much more hidden and subtle, but it's there, and it jumps out at you a lot of times in social media, at games sometimes, but it's there, right? And being anti-Brexit as England is, even though people want to say just immigration, racism is part of that whole anti-Brexit initiative that England got out of the Euros. They don't want certain people in their country, right? No different from what the US is experiencing now with Trump and his people. So are the coaches racist? I can't say that, right? But I'm just saying it's strange to me that certain players get called, like Grealish, and I have no idea why. There's a lot of blacks in the England team, so you can't really say that. There are tons of blacks in England team. You can't say it's racist coach you're calling them. Half the team is probably black by now. In fact, in Germany, there were complaints in the Euros that there are too many black players in the team. And we see a far right. Say it again?
Not.
Say it again?
I would like to think the coaches are not.
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't think they. I think, look, coaches. Here's another thing. Sports has been a great thing for people of different persuasion, as we see in the NBA, for example, and in the NFL, because the thing that you have is it's a meritocracy, and coaches get paid based on outcome and results. And a lot of coaches will close their eyes, even if they're racist, and put a black player in their team because if they were going to make them win. That's how human beings are sometimes. People don't realize that. And so sports have broken down a lot of barriers people don't seem to realize. And to me, the NBA is a perfect example. NFL is a perfect example, and some other sports. And in football, you're actually seeing that in some instances, right? Look at black players in the 80s, for example, in England, what they had to go through versus now. Times have changed. People have moved on. Younger generation not as racist as the older generation. But you're seeing a lot of far-right political group in Europe winning elections, winning seats, and it tells you the direction of travel, where you think we have gone away from this, and sometimes they keep pulling us back in, as the statement goes.
All right, then, thank you. And my last thing as well, big up Ivan Tony, make 50 grand a week and then go 400,000.
Why are people saying he makes 50? So here's what I'm confused about. Everywhere, so I heard somebody say he makes
50.
Wait. I heard somebody say he makes 37 yesterday. You say he makes 50. Transfer Market say he makes 20. I have no idea how much he makes.
Well,
I don't think it's over 100 because Brentford is not paying anybody 100. Can somebody give me something authentic that tell me how much Tony makes? Because I want to talk about Tony and his money anyway. Well, I'm talk about Tony's money when you're done. Because Tony's going to come up next when I talk about controversies, money, actually.
So frankly.
All right, bless up. Thanks for call, 433. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, people. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised about Spain under 19. Here's another thing people don't realize. Even the corporate world, sometimes, when you're exceptionally talented, people will engage with you. Let me just say this again. Even the corporate world, when you're exceptionally talented, they want to engage with you. They want to be your friend because you know what? You can add value to their life. So even some of the people who may not necessarily support you because of your race, they want to be with you because you're providing something, a skill set, a product, something about you, which is great, and they want to be part of greatness. You see it all the time, people. So it's not just in sports. In sports, it's more apparent. In sports, it's more obvious, but it does happen. I've seen it in my career. I've seen people want to be around. I'm not saying it's me, but people want to be around them because they're just brilliant. I have friends who are like that. They're just brilliant people. And if you're white, green, black, you want to be around them because they're quality, both in terms of how they operate and the value they bring. So don't be surprised about that. Do not be surprised. It's not unique per se. It's something that happens quite a bit, actually. So now we're going to transition from Sterling. But if you guys have more comment about the Sterling thing, because I just think it's interesting that a player whose stats are so significant, one could even say phenomenal, is treated with such disdain by the English press. And they're so derisive, divisive. They just... so Tony said he makes 36,000 per week. So we're going to go to this now, people. Let me go to this because I think this is important, actually. And I was supposed to do some research on something, and I didn't do it. But anyway, so it makes 36,000. Let me take this down. So I have two people here about money versus country. Don't you find this really interesting? How I have this here, which is Tony and you guys know who this is? I'm sure a lot of you know you're Jamaican. It's Nigel Clark, who was the former finance minister for Jamaica, who sort of oversee Jamaica. I'm gonna call it economy finance program. And I heard someone beat him the other day, that him jump ship, or whatever you call it, because he decided to take a position as the deputy managing director for the IMF, which is a big job, right? And the whole thing was about being a nationalist, because he's in politics. So if you're in politics and you serve the people, you're supposed to be a nationalist. So, and I have the the difference here, I'm going to talk through them for Tony, who people are saying, why is he going to Saudi Arabia? He'll not be able to play for England. And I have Nigel here as a contract and saying he's a politician, but he's taking a job. I'm not trying to beat Nigel, people. Don't get me wrong. I'm on Nigel's side on this one. Trust me. Because I always have my own view on. Let me take a drink of water before we talk this. Because I'll get some beaten, but beaten good sometime. So Tony, if he makes 36,000, which my friend Tony said he makes, 36,000 people. I think Saka makes what, 250? I think Havertz make about 280. I think Partey makes about 150. I think most of the Arsenal play in the top team makes over 100,000. Even then Ketia makes 120. Nelson makes 100. And Tony, who's a big time striker, don't get it fooled, is making 36,000. So after taxes, he probably takes him about, Jesus, this is bad. This is worse than I thought. He probably takes him about 18,000 a week. It's 36,000 a week, people, not 36,000 a year. So let's not get it confused. He probably takes him about 18,000 a week, right? Think about it. And he has a lot of gambling debts. I hate to beat you, Tony, but you were a gambler. You had over 200 situation of gambling. So, I'm betting on $10. So you probably have gambling debts you got to pay off. So I'm making, let's call it 20. Let's run up to 20 people. I think it's 45% after you make 150,000 a year, the UK charge. And 20, you can't correct me on this, right? So let's say he takes some 20,000 pounds a week in his pocket. Because don't follow the thing when people talk about you make 36,000. It's what you can spend. That's what you make. In my view, that's how I view these things. That's why a lot of rich people have tax avoidance scheme. I didn't say tax evasion, tax avoidance scheme, because they want to keep their money. And the more you make, the more taxes you pay. In the UK, it's a much more simplistic tax structure. You pay like little or nothing under 39, 40,000. Between 39 and 149, you pay a certain number. I forgot what the number is. And then after 149, you pay like 45% of it, right? Enough money that. So if you make $100, you only take home $55. Right? In Hong Kong, you take home $85. Big difference. But anyway, we digress. Tony's gonna go to Saudi Arabia. He's gonna make £400,000 a week. So let's digest that, people. So I went from, and by the way, if you go to Saudi Arabia, people, I make 40,000 a week. If you stay out of the country for a certain period of time, I think the most you can be in the country, you can't be in the country for more than 3 weeks. England don't tax you on your worldwide income. They tax you mainly on the income you make in the country. So he's going to be able to keep the whole £400,000 a week, which means he's making 20 times what he was making in the UK. Let me just say this again. He'd be taking home 20 times what he's making in the UK. Somebody decided to interrupt me. Boy, I'm telling him the timing. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening, sir. How is your day?
My day is okay. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just watching your program and I'm just having a glass of wine and enjoying the moments as you guys are talking.
Okay. You sound like you're having a glass of wine.
More than I'm going to have a bottle because I try to drink a bottle every day.
A bottle or a bottle?
Yes, a bottle. Yes. Yeah, man. So anyway, a road boy, I chat to you.
Yeah, we know. Say a road boy. Only a road boy will tell me my dissertation or my soliloquy.
Yeah, man. Me love you. You see, you are, you know what? Me like certain program I watch, like gentlemen, like you, very.
I thought I was an angry man, not a gentleman.
No, man, you're a gentleman. You're a gentleman because you're well spoken. You are well spoken and you're intelligent and
Well, if those are compliments, I appreciate it. Some people just think
Yeah, man.
Some people just think I'm just negative. That's how I get something negative and toxic.
No. You know what happened? You see the way I grew up, I can't be rough too, because people try to push me under the bus and sometimes we don't go that way.
Right.
So anyway, this Jackie, I don't know if I pronounce his name. This Jack Grealish or Greenish.
Yes, Jack Grealish, yes.
Them they are waste of time from day one. Waste of time. Yeah, you hear me, boss?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Listen.
Jack Grealish, them, you see, England, as we all know, England is a country, pardon me, which we all know they are colonized. When we say colonize, me put it in my word, like skin complexion.
Right.
Jack Grealish and no baller. Me no say him can't do 1 and 2, you know. You get what I say?
Right.
Jack Grealish man no portion to baller. He should have done Aston Villa.
Well, he'd be guaranteed to play there.
Yeah, because colonize is color. Jack Grealish should have got model. He should have got put on a tight bikini.
Well, he does get a lot of sponsorship.
Well, that's where me think him should have go to modeling, go dance on the pole, because he look like a modeler to me on the football field when he play.
Right.
He don't look like a soccer player. He can't go nowhere in a Raheem Sterling foot. The ads where you put up or the thing where you put up, me not for going at that. He man no ball to Raheem Sterling, man.
Well, I think the numbers suggest that, actually. So
right.
I would agree with that.
I don't have to go into no number. He man no ball, I'm nowhere close to Mr. Sterling. I just England from day one, for we color them, put we behind them, and Germany a protest too much black people in a camp. Germany only could, I didn't know what they want.
No, don't say it. Because it's not all Germans, so don't say it.
Me know, but them Germany is one country where them don't like black from day one. Even South Africa, the same thing. South Africa. So many want to go into that, because when me certain program go up and it don't make my blood pressure bust.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, it don't make my blood pressure rise and bust.
Don't know when your blood pressure bursts, and that's fatal.
No, it's not go up, but me just say certain country where you hear them talk about black people, black this or white. Every human being is human being, and everybody have a standard of living or a standard of potential where you can put yourself at a certain level, where you can elevate yourself, or where you can, you know what type of level you can go for yourself in anything performance where you want to. You understand me?
Yeah.
So the world, some of them are people we are going with them, I go with them for go in and go tie themselves in the middle of the blue sea and not come up back, make white shark nyam them,
No, we don't want them to die. We don't want them to die.
No, but I tell you the plain truth, man, because I see him. So you just see Nelson Mandela all over the years, he fight for black people, and them see him and go for how much him in a prison for them. They fight for over color. As I say, I even want to go into that on your show, because a sports you talk about. But a man for go, man, and left Raheem, man. Raheem forget him badge, man. Put the man badge on him, man. I don't know bogus badge, so. When you earn your badge, man, you stamp it. What color you want to be. I reckon them a big forward. Any color, we no business. Once you're good, you're good. Drogba, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. You understand?
Yeah.
When you earn your badge, stamp the badge, man. You come tell people about, your color this, your color that. No, if you go away with that, them days are done. Go away with them, there's something there. What you for Caesar what you for Caesar, give it to him. You get what I say, Papa?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
What you for Caesar, man, make Caesar earn when Joe, man, Stop tear down people and them, and tear down and eat down. And Rashford this and Rashford that. And
so someone in the chat is saying that Grealish didn't get the opportunity at Man City.
When Grealish and no baller, man. Grealish should have done at West Ham or Crystal. I would have put him at Crystal Palace.
But he was at Villa, who are probably good now, actually.
Me know, but all right, make me break it down to you. Sometimes, you see a baller where when you take him from a lower club, him perform less,
Sometimes that happens, yes.
No, I'm telling you.
Look at the level step up, so sometimes it's challenging.
Yes, And on another level, you have too much. Them have too much people. Them buy for all these millions where them have to try put out to see where them can earn back out of them. And sometimes when you take a little man from a little club, look on all where my African guy and he would have play for Overhampton, where the big strong guy and him, man, the forward.
Put for Wolverhampton.
Torre, Torre.
You sure it's Wolverhampton?
Overhampton, man. In the Ghana, Barcelona one time, man. I want to see him back to a Crystal Palace.
No, but Yaya Torre wasn't a forward.
Not Yaya Torre, man. Overhampton.
Wolverhampton?
The muscular.
No, it's not Torre. Traore.
Yeah, man.
He's now at Fulham, I think he's actually.
Yeah, you should stay away him there.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes, what me I try to say, when you take a good baller from a little club, you perform less. Because when you're there at the little club,
right,
you fight, the energy where you put out, because at the little club, them build you and make you strive in a life,
Yes. A lot of times
when you're at the bigger club, them just spark you like some little old screwdriver where you can't tighten up anymore, anything else, Some little nut where you can't grip and can't hold, When you're there at a little club, man, sometimes better than lawyer there, so. So at the end of the day, what I try to say, Raheem Sterling earning badge, the man I don't know bogus badge. Put the man badge on him and press the button and stamp the man button on him.
No, I would agree with that.
Raheem Sterling deserve what he want. Matter when he want or what he want to buy or what carry want to buy. Him earn a film living that a film style of living. That's what him like. People know watch what people want to do and what them do.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, I hear you.
So all over the years, we know that England is a PIEDIS country, and yeah, man. I'm from a kid, the only one thing what I want in England to do is watch a Premier League game when I never do it, Me don't like England,
Yeah.
When me say me don't like them, because them colonize against black people and our skin. And the whole world know that, but people afraid to whoop them out and chat. You get what I say?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
So, free of speech and no disrespect to nobody, but every human being is upon this planet to serve a purpose, and everybody is here for a living, and everybody is here to show what we can do and what we cannot do from what. You understand?
I would say amen to that. And I do think that a lot of people on the planet don't get the chance to show what they can do. It's not their fault. It's just based on circumstances, right? So I agree with that.
Because I put it away, When me there at Jamaica as a little kid, me see all them little foreigner come down from driver's license. Hell knows. We can't get a visa to go. What's it not? Them the thing that sick my stomach.
Well, we won't talk about this tonight, but we can go deep into this because what you're basically saying is that but you're making a great point, which is that why is it that some countries have the ability, or people from some countries, to go anywhere they want to go, but others are restricted? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and them thing that sick me stomach for years, man, and up to if me dead today and or tomorrow or whatsoever, but that's why the world for know say the world on level. Years people have said this, but some people now come talk because people just come in at them little third world country and them driver's license and them this and them that, and you can't get a visa to go there. So people are gonna know what you can do or what you can't do.
Yep.
You know much talented people we have in them little third world country where nobody knows see. You understand me?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So man. It's just a colonize. It's I call it colonism. That's how I call it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So them try to hold we back as little say, in a third country. Nobody Bob Marley they don't tell them, But anyway, we don't want to interrupt your show.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the call, man. Rude boy. I see you, John.
And
don't drink off the whole bottle. Don't drink off the whole bottle.
No, man. No, I'm not going to drink the whole bottle, because I have to work tomorrow. But sometimes when we watch certain program, people not talk the right stuff, You understand?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
Donkey did tell us they were on a level,
No, it sure is not level. Not level from opportunity standpoint. It's not level.
Yes, and So big up Raheem Sterling, big up Jagba. I'm a Chelsea man, you know. But Chelsea, me hate Chelsea club now. Me didn't want to watch him.
don't hate your club. Don't hate your club.
Nobody playing on me. Nobody playing on my Premier League match. You know, stick me stomach.
They're gonna get better.
We need some Salaman Kalou back and some Michael Lesson and you know these guys sick my stomach, man.
All right, rude boy.
Anyway, Papa, carry on and blessings to the world and love and greetings and love to everybody out there. All right.
Thanks, rude boy. Later. Yeah. So that's rude boy people, and rude boy brought up some very good points, inclusive of the fact that sometimes the world is not the fairest place. In fact, it's far from it. This should be a balanced view discussion about visas and what countries give out what visas and who are privileged in the world. And sometimes we don't take these things serious enough, but we should because they're facts. But I'm gonna go back to the one should one choose country over money. So what you guys think? So let me talk to the numbers first. You can give me a perspective of what you think about this. Should I choose my country or should I choose money? So the view is that Tony's not going to Saudi Arabia. He won't be able to play for England. First of all, people make the statement. Please stop the nonsense. He ain't getting no game for England unless Harry Kane break both his legs and his back and his shoulder. He ain't getting in the team. And if he gets in the team, Holly Watkins is probably ahead of him. And I'm sure they're going to bring somebody else at some point. He's going to be making he's going to be taking home 20 times what he's going to normally take home. So let's say he made $40,000 a week, which is about $2 million a year. He's going to take home, he wouldn't take home $2 million, he'll take home about $1 million, right? In Saudi Arabia, he's going to take home $20 million. He's going to make 20 times what he makes, and he has a 3-year contract, I think it is. So he's going to take home, if he doesn't go in the UK and overstay his time there and get taxed by HMRC, he's going to take home 60 million pounds over 3 years, is my understanding. If he makes about 400,000, somewhere around there approximately, he makes 400,000 pounds a week. So it'll be tax-free versus taking home, he would have taken home what? A few millions over 3 years. There's no comparison, people. He'd have taken home like 3 million in his pocket over the 3 years if he's making the same Brentford money. Obviously, he'd have moved to make about 100,000 a week, for example, or 200,000 a week. I think he wanted 200,000 a week. That's why he probably couldn't get a team. He did get at Saudi Arabia, but it's a no-brainer move. I'm gonna make 20. So I have to work 20 years to make the money I'm gonna make in Saudi Arabia. If I go there for 3 years, I have to work another 17 plus years to make that money. It's a joke even talking about it. Raheem Sterling, by the way, was offered £650,000 a week. So double what he's making now, but his take home would have been about 4 times what he's making now. If me Raheem Sterling, and me at 30 years well, me gone, can't see me. But he's made a lot of money, so he's not like Tony who's made a lot of money. Now, the reason why I have Nigel Clark here, who's the finance minister of Jamaica, is that Nigel has moved to become the deputy managing director for IMF, right? I think the lady who was there before from Liberia, she left. And by the way, given Nigel's background, Nigel deserves a big job. Now, when I say Jamaica finance minister, a big job. When I say big job, I mean job pay him some money. Jamaica don't pay Nigel no money. Even though Nigel double and triple in wages, because in PR, the big people in a parliament, they not make no portion of money, people. Nigel has a master's in applied statistics from Oxford. He has a PhD in, I forgot what it is, but it has something to do with, I always call it numbers. I mean, people, let's think about this, right? He has a PhD in what? Numerical analysis or something like that. So he's a brilliant man. I not make no money in Jamaica. At some point, your family and your financial situation has to come into play. It can't always be about the country. So people want to beat Nigel, but he might jump ship and he might do that. Who not do the same thing? It's a much more high-profile job. And first of all, the people at the IMF, to pick out Nigel of all people in the world, they come help run the IMF, which is a huge organization, International Monetary Fund, huge organization covering most of the developing countries, supplied by most of the industrialized countries in terms of how it gets funding. Some people compliment the IMF about the restriction. They're trying to make people's economy work in a certain manner. To beat Nigel, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. People say it's a good thing for Jamaica. You can push a lot for Jamaican finance. No, tycoon, on the side working out. Here's another thing, people. That's why I hear people in the US talk. We're going to politics now, people. Say Kamala Harris, the Democrats have nothing for black people, and Obama didn't for black people. So, Kamala has to give us something. People, if you're in those seats, your responsibility is the entire country. You can't pick out some specific group and give them something special. So what the rest of people are supposed to think? It doesn't work like that. Now you can have programs which are going to benefit people who look like you, but it benefit the general population. But you can't make yourself just targeted to a single specific group. Unless you're like, you're forgiving student loan, for example. Well, that affects everybody. You got to be very careful because everybody elected you, not just one group. Right? I don't think it's a good thing I don't know if it's a good thing for Jamaica or not. I don't know what influence he has, but his role is going to be for the countries that they cover, not just for Jamaica. He can't be parochial in his view and how he operates. But I have nothing bad to say about him taking the role. Nothing. He's a brilliant man. I don't want to give him credit. He's a brilliant. Hey, when you go Oxford, my youth, when you go UWI and you get like straight A's, you're a Rhodes Scholar, and you go Oxford and you major in some of the most difficult discipline, and you do a PhD and you come up with honors, you know what you're talking about. And yes, it's sad for Jamaica because it's brain drain. And he's overseen the economy. He has reduced the debt to GDP ratio. I think it went from over 1 point something to like 0.7 or whatever the number is. So it seemed like he's done a very good job. He's a very, very smart man. But as he's saying, you got to get paid at some point. If he was in the US working at some investment bank, he'd be making millions a year. Which you transfer to Jamaica is like 100, 200 million. He'd be making millions. That's not debatable. He could have some huge role. He's still doing public service. So his payment won't be similar to what he'd make in the private sector, especially if he was in the US or the UK, for example. But I'm not going to begrudge him. Is it a big loss to Jamaica? Yes, it's another brain drain. It's another quality, talented individuals leaving the island. I don't know. And the only way you can prevent it from happening is to pay people. Because people, if nothing happened to Nigel, only just move on and do what I want to do. And then I said, I'm mourning for Nigel. So Nigel, everything about himself and family. So when people are beat Nigel, I have to laugh and say, you know what? Some of these people are so selfish. If the man want to make a personal decision for him and his family, even if he's in politics, allow him. He's made his sacrifice because a sacrifice he make being a Jamaica, and being Parliament Finance Minister, can not get paid no money. So I make a sacrifice. He's making financial sacrifices for what? Since 2018 for the last 6 years. His talent is obvious on the world stage because it took him to go work at the IMF in the second highest position, basically, in that organization. So I'm gonna stop being people about Nigel. Stop the nonsense. Stop beating Nigel. He's a brilliant man. He made a personal decision. And I heard somebody in Jamaica said, "Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna say who said, but the person is involved in football. They were interviewed and basically saying, you know what? Almost like, he's just replaceable. Nothing will change. When you lose a lot of intellect, something will change. Decisions may not be what they used to be. The thought process may not be what it used to be. The challenge may not be what it used to be. So don't tell me you're going to lose such a brilliant mind and nothing will get affected. That's not true. That's like saying Michael Jordan left the Bulls, but the Bulls, well, probably I'm stretching here, but the Bulls weren't good. The Bulls haven't been good since Michael Jordan left. Yeah, he's the one who said it, by the way. I heard him say it. I was like, you know what? Anybody can fill the role. So I have no comment on the person, by the way. Claudine said, don't be blind, cranky. Politicians don't fight to go into politics for public service. Making sacrifice. No, I think there's some politicians who go into the role. Well, look, there's a lot of power involved, right? Human beings love power. So if you're not making the money, you love power. But some people, what they do first, they go into private sector first, make their money, then they go into politics. Some people use the national treasury as their own pocket money. That's what some people do. But some people go make their money first, then they go into politics. Stefan says, cranky look at it differently. If this GLP movement is still in power, it only orders well for the country future funding from the IMF. Look, we may agree to disagree. I know that's been said by a few people. I'm not sure I totally agree with that. Cranky, they don't get paid, but they also don't have to pay for it. I know, but there's a difference. Guna, would you give me freeness, which costs 100,000, versus me making $1 million? So, say I get paid 100,000, and I'm using US money, people, because Jamaican money kind of light. Say how much does Nigel get paid now? I'm sure he's not making 100K US. I'm sure Nigel is not making 100K US. And if you can get 100 get free car and free house and free food, call it 200,000 US. You think that money for people who work in the private sector with film talent? People even working in the private sector make millions of US dollars. They're not no monkey money. So this misconception that, you know what, he tripled his wage in Jamaica and getting paid. No, you ain't getting no paid. Someone says he's making about $500,000 now compared to 120 in office. Yeah. Yeah. 120K in the US as finance minister. That's no proportion of money, people. Most people in the US now, middle class, make over 100,000. In fact, you can't live in New York and they say make 100,000 a year. You can't live a good life in New York. I mean, they say make about 100,000. In fact, I just saw something the other day. I don't want to believe this. Where someone told me they work in, should I say this? I'll say it anyway. Someone told me they work in this city in New York and they have these programs. They have like food stamp, they have Section 8, they have FEPS, and some other programs. They're social programs where they give out funding to people who are underprivileged or have challenged to satisfy their financial needs. And if you calculate the total money they get about $70,000 a year. Let me repeat that. If you calculate how much money they get between housing allowance, food, and ancillaries, they get about 70,000 US a year. And you tell me Nigel make 120. People, Nigel has a PhD in numerical analysis. He has a master's in statistics. Nigel deserves to get him PhD. Sorry. Good for another finance minister. Nigel deserves him PhD. So, I'm getting a call in. Good evening. Good evening. Who am I talking to?
Well, go on, Cranky. You know how we are talking, man. World traveler.
What do you have to say, world traveler? What do you have to say?
Yeah, I want to call in. I want to talk about this tax thing because I can't explain. I don't understand as fully as you.
Which tax? Which tax thing? Which tax thing?
Tax.
In terms of?
No, like the footballers in England tax them.
So the footballers get taxed like everybody else, right? But in England,
yes,
they have 3 categories of how you get taxed. I think it's, and the people quote me, I think it's like under 40,000, 39 something, you pay a certain tax rate. I forgot what the rates were because I wasn't living in England. Between 39 and 149, you pay a certain rate. So you pay 40% between 39 and 149. You may pay 20%. I got to get the numbers right, between 0 and 39,000. And then after you make over 149,000, I think is it, you pay 45% tax, right? So if you make 100,000, you're going to pay tax of 45,000. But unlike the US, who tax you on your worldwide income. So if you're a US citizen and you go work in England, the US still tax you. You may not pay any state tax, you don't live in the state anymore, but you pay federal tax, right? And what they'll do is, if England also tax you, they give you credit for what England tax you. So you're not paying double taxation, but you're going to pay high of the 2 taxations, high of the 2 taxing countries. However, if you're English and you go live in Saudi Arabia, for example, the money you make is basically tax-free if you don't violate certain requirements. So, for example, you don't come back to the UK and stay over a month in a given year. You can keep all the money you make in Saudi Arabia, which is 400,000. That's the point I'm making. So, in essence, you get 45% tax in the UK on what you make if you make over 150 a year. But if you go to Saudi Arabia and you don't violate the rules, you get to keep the total amount of money you make, which is amazing, actually. Yes. So in essence, you probably take for Tony, he's getting paid about 10 times what he makes now. And if he doesn't pay any tax on it, and he got to pay tax in the UK, it works out to be about 20 times what he makes, which is amazing, actually.
Okay, so the tax in England, that's so high, like them tax your peak.
Well, it's not higher than the US in some states. So, for example, in the US, your highest tax rate is about what? About 37, 39%. But that's only good if you live in Florida, for example, where you pay no state tax and then no local taxes, right? If you live in New York, depends on where you live, If you make over a certain amount, so you make over $500,000 a year, you're going to pay about 12% tax. California is a little bit more. Plus the 37, 39% pay in the US. So you may pay over 50%, which is more than the tax in the UK in general. And second, in the US, you have something they call FICA, which is Social Security tax, which is 7% of a certain number. So you end up paying. It's always interesting to see the basketball players how they get paid. Most of them that live out in like California, New York, take home more than 50%, less than 50% of what they make. So if you see Curry getting $62 million in his last year of his contract, 2-3 years from now, he probably take home about $29 million of the $62 million. He won't take home $31 million. So people of the $62 million.
That you get back at the end of the year, tax return.
All depends on what your deductions are, but you probably don't get back a ton if you're Curry in the world. All depends on if you have losses, like if you sell your securities and you have some losses. Part of losses is deductible. So it depends on what losses you have. You have to have losses to reduce the taxes, basically. Right? So you're actually losing someplace else to reduce taxes. So it doesn't really help. You're not getting back. You're not going to get a ton. If it's just pure the way it is, you're not going to get back a ton of money. So you're basically paying out half the money that you make. I don't know what Jamaica's tax rate is, because people set up work around it. But I got to work out the Jamaica tax numbers. I don't know what the Jamaica tax numbers are. But in the U.S., if you're in New York, you're in California, which I think are and Connecticut, some of those states, people pay a lot of taxes actually.
Sound to me like the bigger the city, the more tax you pay. That's what it sounds like.
Well, they're blue in the blue states. You pay more tax than you in the red states.
Yeah,
the blue states, which is yeah. So if you're in New York or California or Connecticut, you're gonna pay more tax than if you're in Georgia, North Carolina, Florida doesn't have any tax, Nevada doesn't have any tax. There's a number of states that don't have no tax. State tax, that is, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the story. But if I'm Tony, you couldn't hold me to get a Saudi Arabia. I don't care what I have to do. If I got to stay in my room and just go play football, that's what I'm doing.
But as I say, it's no brainer at his age.
Yes.
Leave.
Yes.
Leave. The only thing I'm upset with.
Yep.
The only thing I'm upset with Tony about is that he shouldn't make England cap him, because he will never play for England again at his age.
Yeah, but you know what? For him, he probably got a bonus getting an England cap. I'm positive he got a bonus, and probably a decent bonus. Because you know how that works. In your contract you sign, there are certain incentives in your contract. One of those, if you get capped for England, for example. I don't know if you get capped by Jamaica if you get any bonus, but it would be nothing compared to his England cap. So he got money for getting England cap. Yeah, there's money involved.
Yeah, but it's the age I'm watching, because you do want to play international football. Regardless, as I know football, that everybody wants to play international football.
Yep.
See, so what I saw they did to him in the Euros is the same thing they did to John Barnes. John Barnes did play more games for England, but in the
but John Barnes got more game time though, right?
That's Tony. What I said. John was drafted as a younger baller, but I'm talking about the tournament, because in the 86 World Cup, they might have John Barnes on the bench, and when it looked like they were going to get knocked out of the World Cup, that's when they put him on, and then him come and him create a goal. Him create a goal and him create another one, and Gary Lineker duck instead of try push the licking it against that post to put that ball in.
Yeah.
See, the same thing with Tony. England was looking like they were going to get knocked out of the Euros, and then put him on and create a goal.
Yeah, I'm convinced
World Traveler. And then don't play him again.
Yeah, I'm convinced World Traveler that if John Barnes had started that game, England won that game against Argentina.
Well,
John Barnes came on for what, like 25 minutes?
15 minutes.
15 minutes? And was devastating. Set up one goal. The Nicholas scored the second goal. And I will tell you this, back in the 80s, England didn't want to play black players. John Barnes, when he played some game against Brazil, drove from half-line and scored and creating all that rave, he should get more game time. England was racist then, racist against black players then, so you know what? Is at their own detriment.
Yeah, them not here. It's just like the situation with Ian Wright and the next big striker man from Newcastle, where he's a strike for England. Sheringham.
Shearer. You mean Shearer?
Shearer.
Yeah.
Shearer. Ian Wright talk about it, The man say he was begging for some game and they would have never give him the opportunity over Shearer.
No, they didn't. And Ian Wright was scoring a goal for Arsenal then.
Yes, was a top striker.
Yeah.
And he's Jamaican.
Yes, he is.
His mother was born in Jamaica. Him talk about it.
Yeah, most of those kids, most of the earlier black generations came from Jamaica, actually, in terms of who played football, right? It's only later on the Africans came, the Ghanaians and the Nigerians. But before that, like when my parents migrated to England in the 50s, it was mainly Jamaicans who went over there at that time. Almost all my uncles and aunts and my dad and mom all went to England way back when. So they were the first generation of footballers who were black in England. And then later on, you saw the Africans let them come over for school and other things. But it was mainly Jamaicans, actually. Because Trinidad didn't immigrate, because Trinidad had oil money. They need to export people. Jamaica exported a lot of people, especially after World War II. Yeah,
man. And these people is who help build the country. People leave from the 50s.
All those factories you have, especially the ones up in the Midlands. Yep, definitely.
Them leave on boats.
Yes. People, please hit the like button. All right, World Travel. I appreciate the call, sir.
Yeah, man. Respect, man. Yeah,
man. Bless up. Thanks a lot. All right, that was World Travel, people. We're recollecting about England '86 World Cup and what they did to John Barnes. Yeah. Caribbean Giver says, Cranky, get PPP license on your car. Yeah, pay tax. That's why I leave Jamaica. That can't be why you leave Jamaica, Caribbean. You leave Jamaica because you got to make some real money. Then that's why you leave Jamaica. Whatever it is that he was making, Brando, it's not enough money. Jamaica can't pay this talent. If you have the credentials that he has, Jamaica can't pay him. Jamaica can't pay him. Trust me. Jamaica can't pay him. And I understand the view, people, but there's one thing too. Unless you guys are saying that the politicians are taking the money, because it ain't from the payments that they're getting. I saw those numbers. Even the U.S. politicians, even the U.S. House and Senate and President. What Trump making as president? Well, he make enough money on the side. I think the president got what, $400,000 a year. A lot of people in private sector make much more than that. Tons of people in private sector make much more than that. Tons. So. And people in Congress ain't making up 400,000. Neither people in the Senate, and they're a lot, but they have a bigger role in life. They're much more prominent. They're much more visible. But they're not making that level of money that in the private sector. People in the private sector make them hedge fund managers are making. I remember one hedge fund manager was working at my company. He left, and he couldn't make partner. The FA left. He pulled in $1 billion managing debt, high yield credit. So many people make ridiculous money. So and money creates influence. But anyway, so people, that was I want to make about this, which is, I haven't heard you guys say anything, what will you choose? Would you do what Nigel is doing? Would you take the role with IMF, a much more visible role, a much more lucrative role, or would you stay in Jamaica and manage the Jamaican economy? And first of all, when you have election, he's not guaranteed to be in that seat. That's another thing too. Nobody not firing from the IMF unless he decides to leave or not do the job well, which is probably rare in those organizations. Nobody not leave him. So you tell me, people, you tell me this. Would you take the money or would you stay in Jamaica? No, I'm not telling you, I'm not talking about any company I work for. I work for 5 companies in my career. One is a consultant. And I'm not mentioning any of those companies on this channel. So, I apologize, but I'm not doing that. But trust me, a big company them. But I'm not mentioning a company because you know what? When they get me so upset on the channel sometimes, one of the people say, boy, I can't believe he worked at my company. can't believe he worked at my company and see him on YouTube. So I'm protecting them. I'm protecting myself because I'm retired. I'm protecting them and their reputation. Because sometimes when they make me upset, I'm going to embarrass them people that will say, boy, because I was surprised. I said that to Minzy the other day. I went to an event last Saturday. And somebody I used to work with. I forgot I'd send some of the people who were of my persuasion, I send them the link for my channel. And they were like, yeah, we saw you, Cranky. And I'm thinking, man, I hope they don't watch every show. Because that'd be fun. Cranky what? Fingersmith? No. I protect people's money. I didn't take people's money. I protect the money. No. I don't think there's a cookie jar with. Why you guys have to think all Jamaican politicians are not have the best integrity? I'll put it. Because I don't want to get sued by nobody, so I defame them enough. So I manage my words carefully. No, but Trev done. Those things are not legal, right? Those things are not legal. Don't look at Clarence Thomas. The Supreme Court has no oversight. Don't look at Clarence Thomas. I get free tuition for him cousin or nephew and free trip. Them things they're not legal in a corporate environment or in government in period. They're not legal in government to do that. They're illegal. People go to jail for those things. But Supreme Court have no checks and balances, so they can get away with it. What do you mean, Claudine? Claudine, expound upon that. I don't understand what you're saying, Claudine. Claudine, expound upon that. I don't understand what you're saying, Claudine. I'm not casting blame on anyone when it comes to me. I'm responsible for myself. I would never do that, Claudine. Never. I am responsible for myself. So whatever I do, I own it. But as I'm saying, I'm retired, but I don't want my pharma companies to have me mentioning who I work for, and then people see me and say, I cannot believe he worked for a company. He's giving us a bad. You know how it works? Well, if you're Jamaican, you know, because we know how we have a lot of us who give us bad names. So we know how that works. But no, I'm not mentioning the companies I work for. Somebody mentioned I should have somebody interview me on my channel and talk about my background. I was like, no, and my supposed accomplishments. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. You want me to talk sports and to talk everything except we're not talking about cranky. Oh, yes, you guys make me, yes, all the time, Claudine. So that's what you say. I should accept who I am. So I'm the one that's getting mad for no reason, Claudine, because I'm local. I don't think so. I think people get under your skin sometimes and you just react. Right? See? Yes, Prince Agrillion. Privacy. Exactly. Privacy. Nah, give nothing but who we work for. And people gonna look you up on LinkedIn and then all of a sudden you know them thing and go, we're not do that. Yeah, especially you, Claudine, when you don't hit the like button. Especially you, Claudine. You come in, you don't hit the like button, Claudine. You come into the channel and just sit there and then say, I was in the background, Claudine. I'm cranky. You're too miserable, cranky. I was a beg for likes. And most times I just ask nice. Well, most time I think I ask nicely until I get perturbed. So that's why I'm saying he's not only talking the money, but showing the world Jamaica can always make up of athletes. No. People. Ted Dexter. No, you're wrong on this, Ted Dexter. You think Dexter. People don't understand this. There are tons of Jamaicans doing well in the private sector and public sector in the world. Tons of Jamaicans. You know, Jamaicans are Jamaican heritage. Tons of them. You go on Wall Street. Ton of Jamaicans on Wall Street. You go in the pharmaceutical, every industry can go on in America. There are tons of Jamaicans in there. So no, yes, he's on the world stage, but Jamaicans are doing well in the business community, on Wall Street, pharmaceutical, medicine, whatever you want to call it. Them and their kids are doing well. Tons. So we don't. Yes, Nigel is an example of Jamaicans who are doing well. He's not the example. He's an example. No. A lot of Jamaicans do well. Tons of them. Them and their kids. I had a friend of mine who from my past, I'll put it that way, who I was just communicating with her daughter the other day, and her daughter, and here's another thing to people. A lot of Jamaican families, especially the moms, they fight to send their kids to the best school. They will move. I shouldn't say Jamaican, say West Indian parents anyway, who grew up in an environment where when they grew up, and some of them weren't that, we moved from sports people, but we'll talk some football. We have to talk through this. They'll move to live in an area they don't want to live in. And I'm saying West Indian now, not just Jamaican, because they want the kids to have the best education. And they'll spend time, I know someone personally, spend time with their kid. The kid come home. I've mentioned this on the show. Doing 4 hours of the homework every single night for 5 days a week. And they're there doing the math with them. And they're arguing because the kid is saying, no, this, and the kid, they're saying, no. They do the English. They do the math. They do whatever it is with their kids. And I know a Jamaican parent who, her daughter, she moved to an area to live because she wanted to have the best school. Kid went to Princeton, did MBA and law at Columbia, and now run their own company. So there are a bunch of kids where the parents invest in their kids' future. This is a balanced view discussion of people. I talk about the sports channel. And those kids are doing phenomenally well. And it shows you, just like in the football people, If you have people with intellectual know-how to help the kids develop and give them the right guidance, right coaching, right management, can do well. In life, football is a reflection of life in general. Right? Yeah, no, I agree, Ted Dexter. I mean, I think Jamaica doesn't offer enough industries and they have a lot of smart kids. First of all, I think a lot of parents in Jamaica don't spend enough time with their kids when they go to school to help them. Even if you don't have the intellectual ability, you make sure they do them schoolwork. You don't have to be this, one of my family members told me, well, I'm not that smart, so I couldn't help them schoolwork. But you weren't sitting there with them while they do the schoolwork. Make sure they do it. Talk to their teacher. Go to parent-teachers meeting. Call their teacher. Talk to them about how they're doing, what they're doing well, what they're not doing well. That guidance is not there. You don't have to be a brilliant person to invest in your kids' future. I know we're here to talk football, people, but the football is the same way. JFF need to invest in these kids. I know the JFF said they're doing a better job, so we'll wait and see the results, which will take years. I know they're celebrating the under 14, which will take years. But I'm going to digress. Yeah, no. I know quite a bit of them actually. Sacrifice for their kids. The kid is their life. Not just Jamaicans, West Indians, I'm saying. Because one of the person I'm talking about, they're Guyanese, they're not Jamaican. But I see what they do. They will go to neighborhoods to live where they don't want to live in because they want a kid to go to a certain school. And they'll sit down in the evening. I watch this happen, people, for a while. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not sure I could do this. And I know I spend a lot of time with my, encouraging my niece and nephews, and I have somebody will live with me, and I pressure them to study, and I have them in the living room, circle there, and they get upset with uncle because they want to go play a video game. I said, that's not happening. It's all about studying. They're all in college now, which is good. But I've seen some moms invest in their kids 3-4 hours every single night, and they're doing their work. They sometimes work from home, they're doing their work. So the returns on your investment, it's a pleasure to see those kids doing well. And by the way, the kid I was talking about, she's about 12 now. Where she is now, so she moved, right? So I'm giving you an example, people. So when they're in New York, the kid is doing, and I'm saying, man, these teachers are so, I don't mind the kids studying, but these teachers are so hard on them. The kid move and go to another state. I won't say what state. And she go into 7th grade, right? Because she just turned 12, going to 7th grade. And she's like, this work is a joke. Because in New York, she went to Success Academy, right? Very stringent environment, very strict curriculum. They pressure them hard because they're saying you're competing with the Asians, you're competing with the Filipinos who are doing work, competing with Indians. We have to make sure you're doing work. And I'm talking people who are black, right? They go to another state, they're in a community, they go into schools, and they're like, but I did this 2 years ago. They're in the 7th grade, people. No, and they say they do work 2 years ago. So I'm just showing you the curriculum, how the curriculum is, and what it means for these kids, and how we can actually compete. We can compete. We just don't want to put in the work to compete. I'm not saying everybody, people, because a number of people do it. But if you want to compete, it takes sacrifice. People think, oh, because we're not smart. No, we're smart, but you don't want to do the work. So you're going to know you're smart if you don't do the work. I think this doesn't happen by osmosis. But anyway, I could talk this thing all day. That's a balanced view discussion. I have it on my balance. I have put balanced view on pause for a while. But I'm going to start that because I want to talk about these topics because they're important. Let's go to some football, people. We only have about 17 minutes left. I won't talk a lot about the team. I have a bunch of questions and a bunch of comments about this. I'll just say, I want to talk about what I talked about earlier in the program, which is around the complaint that there's not enough JPL players in the team. And later on this week, especially Thursday and Friday, I'm going to talk about the team, the players, what the strategy coach is going to employ. Are we going to get a style of play? All those things. Give me a second to digest some water, people. I apologize. But right now, I want to talk about some of the controversies surrounding this, which is about some comments by people who are interested in football, our stakeholders. I just heard one more recently from Paul Young, was mentioned on a channel I was watching, talking about he's I guess there's a concern there are not enough JPL players in the team. But for a lot of countries that export footballers, the reason why the players can leave the country that they're in, and it's not unique to Jamaica, is because they have demonstrated certain skill sets for them to leave, and they have the ability. That's why they left. So they're going to be the ones who form most of the team, right? We have a JPL player here. We have Adrian Reed here, right? We have Richard King here. But the fact of the matter is, if you export the talent, because they're good, they're going to formulate most of your team. And the person also mentioned something about, you know, the number of English-born players in the team, which is then creating this whole conflict we have. Oh, it's not even a conflict. This whole narrative we have about people born outside Jamaica versus people born in Jamaica, right? Which we need to move away from. The squad we have here is one of the better squad we're going to have at this point in time until we bring in Mason Greenwood. Then they get better. But the squad was picked by, they said the coach picked the squad. I've challenged that, and I've gotten pushback saying, here you go again, you guys negative. It wasn't being negative about who's in the squad. I don't know how McLaren can pick a squad when he just come the other day. Kind of hard to do. He needs to get input. And I think he can say he got input from his assistant coach. But I think most of the input will come from the assistant coach, not necessarily what he knows, even though he may have done his due diligence before he got the job and to do the interview. Right? But the team, some players cannot pick themselves. Most of this team pick itself. There may be about 5 or 6 positions, which one may challenge. And we will never have consensus about every single player in any single squad for any given country. Right? We will never have consensus for any country, even for some club teams, for Christ. Even for a lot of clubs teams, you will never have consensus about who should be all the players in the squad. There'll be probably of a 23-man squad, there may be 17 or 18, there's almost consensus on. In Brazil, it's probably much less than that. But there can be 5 or 6 players, and sometimes 2 or 3, where you're like, there can always be 1 or 2 players just like, I don't get it. There can be 3 players you're like iffy on, as to why didn't bring somebody else, and the rest of it sort of pick itself. That's how the football teams normally work, especially given the consistency we have had in the squad. The goalkeepers pick themselves. There could be 1 more goalkeeper in here that we have seen before. This is like pick themselves, right? The defenders pick themselves. This same defensive unit has been there for a while now. These are the defenders, even though Latibadier was in the midfield for quite a bit. The midfielders, it's a little bit iffy there. Kind of pick itself in some respect. Bobby Reid was in the forward line at one point. Now we have him as a midfielder. It's a little bit iffy there, to be frank. It's a little bit iffy there, to be frank, in the midfield as to who should be. But K-Roy has come. John Russell come out from the cold. He was left out for a while after the Gold Cup. Casey Palmer has been repeating here. Bobby Reid is a constant. Bobby Reid is a constant. Bobby's a constant. Best of Conroy. Sterling. Yeah, he may have been watching past game, but even past game doesn't really tell you who should pick. But you know what? I could be wrong. Maybe he picked it based on what he's seen before. And he had discussion with Hagram. So who knows how he formulated his view. He could be getting information from different sources that informs his view about who should be in the squad. Right? And he said he watched Adrian Reed play for Cavaliers against Police. You guys know my view on that. So he had some insight into his ability based on that game, I guess. Yeah, we have a core. The defenders are all core. Every single defender here is part of the core. Now, there's once in a while we bring in a couple of defenders. We know who they are. But this defensive team is the core. We have 3, 6, 9 defenders. That's the core. The goalkeeping group is the core. Jamal Wade has not disappointed every time he played. He's been an able replacement for Andre Blake. I would like to see Kanaya Boyce Clark get a game here and there if we get a chance to do so. Because he hasn't really kept for the national team. I think he kept in. I've only seen him keep probably in 1 game. So is he even cap tied yet? I'm not even sure he is. And he's been flying. It's kind of hard to fly from England and to sit on the bench. After a while, the bench get very hot or warm or cold. I guess it gets cold. Most of the defenders are here. I've been here for a while. You know, Travis, you have some JPL players to go here. Come start it out. We're looking for players from anywhere they are, you know. If we have quality midfielders in JPL, I would think we should give them a try. I have no problem with that. If we think they're quality enough and they can step up the level, then we should do so because the midfield need help, people. Midfield need help. We have some of these players that K-Roy is very, very young. Bobby is very flexible. Casey played at a decent level. John Russell, Adrian Reed, he's young. He's 18. Not beat no teenager. But I don't know. But I mean, it's the midfield. We need look. I would love to see Ravel in this midfield. Ravel, go play some football, my youth, and come play. Ravel, go play some football. I heard you play a game the other day. You and a few more people. I was listening to Talk Sport. They were saying they mentioned Ravel as on a party playing in some, I forgot what game they were playing in actually. But Ravel go play some football and come play. Because even when you're 40, I'm at midfield. Reed is 17, even younger than I thought. Thought he was 18. And then the forward line, Shamar, Demari, obviously Jamal Lowe came in for Bailey. But Bailey's a regular. Well, Bailey's sort of a regular when he decided to play. Shamar's a regular. Antonio a regular. Gray's a regular. Kaheem is becoming a regular. It's probably the third squad he's been in. And Norman Campbell, obviously, is playing overseas. He's in Serbia someplace. And supposedly playing well, so he's in the squad. I think Norman Campbell and Cephas can be fighting for the next spot. This thing, so here's the thing, though. It's going to be an interesting one. If Mason does turn up, and if Norman Campbell plays well, who do you leave out of the forward numbers? I'm on Cameron Archer, too. So who do you leave out the forward numbers? Or do you just drop a defender and put out another forward in? Because Bobby Reed can play up front, too. I don't know how that would work, actually. It'd be interesting. Bless up 1-1. Thanks for joining. Hector was there too. Yeah, Jason. Some people said they look like they were not, they were out of shape or something. Or give me 1 second, people. Give me 1 minute. My iPad is losing. I need to charge my iPad, so give me 1 minute because I need to look at some things. Yeah, it's interesting. If Mason comes in, somebody got to go. And this is a set team of people. Apart from maybe Adrian Reed in the midfield, John Russell in the midfield, Norman Campbell. These are recurring players. Every one of the other players are recurring players. Right? Everyone here is a recurring player. Nitro, you're too negative. Too negative, Nitro. We will get a top player at some point. Don't listen to what the coach will tell you. We'll get top players. And then maybe top 17 and 18-year-old there who want to come play for us. They just have to be given the opportunity. Jamalo is iffy. I wasn't calling Jamalo. I'm saying Leon is going to be there. Jamalo will not be there. So it'll be between, if he comes in and he keep the same forwards, between Norman Campbell and Kaheem Dixon. I like Kaheem Dixon, actually. I haven't seen Campbell that much, but I like Kaheem Dixon. Green is going to play for England. Nitro, what are you drinking? He's not playing for England ever again. Ever again. So if you want to wait for England, that's not. I don't care how much goal he scored. I don't care if he scored 2 goals a game in France. He's not playing for England again. You trust me on that. We can make a friendly wager on that. He's not playing for England again. It's not happening. He's been cast aside. He's like Ray Rice, who used to play for Baltimore Orioles and had an altercation with his wife. It ain't happening. He and his wife are together. She says he's the best husband ever. He ain't playing again. Dre DJ saying, Cranky, Reed was far from the best player in the under 20. Why not give the best player from the under 20 the cap? Dre, that's an interesting one. I was told that we are being extremely negative on the kid, that each coach who came has picked the kid based on watching him play, and that the kid may have had a bad tournament, and that's not reflective of him. I was also informed that the kid has went to Portugal. He had some trial with a Portugal first division team. He did well. They may sign him. So there's a lot of positive views on the kid and his ability. I will admit, though, I don't care who you are. If you played 3 games in a tournament with your peer group, and I couldn't see any point in that tournament where you demonstrated any ability to differentiate yourself. It's not one game, We can have all bad tournaments. I don't know. It's a challenge, but we'll see. Not going to beat the kid. I wish him good luck. Hope he does well. I didn't say that. Jason Guna said so. I didn't say that. The coach didn't pick them one team, so I'm not going to say that. I'll leave that alone. Trevor, let me say what one is saying. No. Sorry. One said Green will never play for England again. Yeah, they will not play him. I don't think people realize, how this is, If Man U had to give up on a player, and by the way, Man U have a 50% sell-on clause, and they sell him for 27 million plus add-on, which creates about 30 million. So they're gonna get about 30 million up. They're gonna meet all the incentives gonna be met. You're gonna be sold for like 30 million, and they still put a 50% sell-on clause. So you see, they value him about 100 million, right? And they still got rid of him because fans were not having it. So Claudine says, Crank, I told you the last time, Dixon's not ready. I'm glad you like him. I like ice cream, but it's not my... I don't eat ice cream because it's fattening. I don't eat ice cream. I stopped eating ice cream a while ago. I've ate ice cream maybe once in the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe twice in the last 5 or 6 years. I don't eat ice cream. It's fattening. So I understand what you're saying, Claudine, but I like Dixon. So we differ. See, that's another thing too. We will not always like the same players. I like Dixon. You don't necessarily feel him the way I like him. I think he can be a good player. So we differ, Claudine. We differ. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, people. We don't all, and it's a good thing when we differ. More points to talk about. We should agree to disagree, people. We should be fighting. We should agree to disagree in a professional manner, in a cordial manner, and we can. It's all good. So, and Claudine and I don't see eye to eye most of the time. But Claudine's gonna be like my friend Tony in England, because Tony and I used to see things east and west, and all of a sudden we are aligned, and I think he's more aligned with me. So Claudine gonna align with me at some point. She'll see the big picture. Here we go, Owen. I'm gonna put your comment up, Owen. You see where you got, Owen? We don't know why Claudine start you up. We don't know why Claudine start you up, Owen. You're working off the street. We don't understand, Adrian. That's what you're saying, Adrian. But no. So we will talk about the team in detail, people, come Thursday, not necessarily Wednesday. I'm not sure what the topic is tomorrow for discussion. And then I'm gonna do a watch along. The game, you know, it's funny, people. From last week, I'm searching for the game. There were no TV stations supposed to show in the game, and now it's on Paramount Plus, which obviously is a little bit delayed. So I will probably be doing a watch along, people, like most other YouTubers. So we'll see how that works. I'm sure most YouTubers who are not at the game will be doing a watch along, and it should be good. It should be good. I'm looking forward to the game. It's on Paramount Plus, so at least we'll be able to watch the game. And I'll be doing a watch along. Probably have a guest join me. Try to find out if my guest is available to join me. But it should be fun. It should be fun. We almost at the end of the program. We have about 3 minutes left. And I want to say, first of all, I want to thank each of you. I see people have been trying to hit the like button, which I do appreciate. I see Travis. Is Travis behaving himself, people? Because you know Travis coming and getting enough trouble, you know. Because if Travis give trouble, you know, feel good. If you know give trouble, you know, feel good. And we die if you don't give trouble. I mean, Travis, we know you love your trouble. And I'm going to say this, people, which is, I appreciate you being here. Thought they were interesting back and forth in some of these conversations. Thanks for the phone calls from Rude Boy and from World Traveler and from 433 Presser. And Presser, I hope your channel continue to grow and continue to do well. And I'm saying this for YouTubers. We're going to have disagreement with YouTubers, but we're not fighting that public domain and make we look bad enough. Because you see, I get called for people that tell me, say, you see, we are talking about toxic, negative. So people in the YouTube space, whoever you are, let's try to, if we have disagreement, let's fix them behind the scenes. Don't fix them in the public domain. I know them think they generate views sometimes, but not fix them in the public domain. It don't look good. It's ugly. It's ugly. And we will look bad. And by the way, we're all cast in the same light. Trust me. Whoever is observing, say it, all of them are the same. No matter what our age range, no matter what our persuasion, no matter who we are, if you cover Jamaica football, you're all cast in the same light. All right? All right, Travis, I hear you. So people, we don't want to fight on YouTube. If you don't have a problem, no fight up behind the scenes and rectify it. All right? No come here public domain, because all of you get the blame. All of us look the same. We've been told how negative and toxic we are, and we only substantiating that. So let's get up the fighting thing, and let's all try to be homeowners in terms of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And it's all good. It's all good, people. But I do appreciate everyone who came into the chat. I do appreciate you being here. I am hoping to be here again tomorrow, same time, same place. I may not do a show tomorrow or Thursday. I may not do a show tomorrow because I'm going to be here Thursday and then I'm going to be here Friday. And I like to be on more than 4 days a week. So Friday, I'm going to do the watch along. I'll probably start about an hour before the game starts. The game starts at 7. So I may do the regular 6 o'clock. I may exchange tomorrow for Friday, unless I get a brilliant topic I want to talk about. Because sometimes the topics just come up during the day now. What's my assessment of Mason? So Dre, the DJ, now watch my channel, Dre. Dre, now watch my channel, Dre. Dre, now watch my channel, Dre. You show up yourself. Okay, you watch my channel. You hear me tell people say Mason is the next coming of the Lord for Jamaica football. You'll get beaten for that, especially the one Christian. Mason is the next coming of the Jamaica football Lord. Mason agree with that score. People say, well, you mean, I hear TikTok said this yesterday. TikTok is not here today coming out about the JFF. I hear them they're silent because if you say JFF, wherever TikTok is, the radar goes off and he jumps in the chat. And then he have all these negative things. All of a sudden, TikTok didn't show up because there's no JFF discussion. And he was saying how Mason is scoring in inferior league, supposedly. Mason Green will score anywhere in there. La Liga, Premier League, League One, it doesn't matter. All right? It doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, Mason Greenwood is a brilliant footballer. And he will bring, I'm telling you, I am positive when he comes and start score a goal. I'm at a place, see, look, Jamaica have to do things, they might come join. Well, I don't know if he's going to be the best player of Jamaica. The best player that's represented Jamaica so far. So who do you guys think is the best player, football player, that's ever represented Jamaica? It may not be Mason Greenwood. It's going to be Mason may become the best player ever represented Jamaica at one point, given that he's still young. Right? But he will not. We have to think football broaden the people. The best player who was ever played for Jamaica is Bunny Shaw. Because no just think man too much. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Cranky. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. I wanted you to expound a little bit more on the argument between heritage players and local players being in the team, because I have a theory on it, but I wanted you to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper. I know you're almost at the end of your program, but I kind of want to have this. I want them to have the conversation because I think we always kind of shortchange the viewers, and it's not a proper discussion. It's always in diaspora versus local, and I think we need to kind of dig into that a little bit, in my opinion.
No, you know what? Maybe let's do that tomorrow. Actually, so I'll have a show tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow. I mean, you know, we have done this quite a bit actually, but we can talk about. Here's my view on that. You know what? Let's do it now. Do it quickly. Let me just say this, which is this: if you eligible play for Jamaica, you're not a heritage player. You're a Jamaican citizen.
I agree with you.
So the fact of the matter is, if I went through and got my papers like I have done, I'm now a citizen. I'm entitled to all rights and privileges afforded a Jamaican citizen. I have gone to the Jamaica Constitution and look at the rights of a citizen. I've gone to the JFF Constitution and look at the rights of a citizen. The concept of a quota, the concept of you're not including certain players because they're born overseas is illegal on Jamaica Constitution, and it's a contrary to the JFF's Constitution. So in essence, if you're born outside Jamaica, like Jason Guna is born in America, I'm born in the UK, but we're Jamaican citizenship, you're entitled to anything that any Jamaican is entitled to. Just like you come to the US, I go to England, you're Jamaican, born in Jamaica, go to the US and become a citizen. So I go to England, you're entitled to the rights and privileges of the citizen in that country, bar none, except the Constitution have some carve-out. So in the US, they probably have a carve-out, which some people say is not in the Constitution, that you have to be born here to be the president, right? That's in a carve-out. Everything else, you can be a congressperson, you can be a senator. So there should be no argument about this whole heritage thing. And if you're born overseas, it's people who are, to me, small-minded. It's people who are divisive. It's people who believe that. And I've talked to some people in certain positions in Jamaica who believe the only real Jamaicans are the ones who are born in Jamaica. And for some of them, the only real Jamaicans didn't run away from Jamaica. They're in Jamaica. So you can't really argue. You can't win. There's no win in this argument because their views are not changing, right? They believe if you left Jamaica, you ran away from the challenge of the island, you're not real Jamaican. And they put barriers in place, whether it's in their policies they have, whether it's the government or the JFF, for example. So by the JFF, you have to be on the island, I think, for like 10 years to run for a JFF office. That's them limiting the amount of people who can run for office so they can control what they control. It's a fact. They can say what they want, but it's a fact. So if you are Nigel, for example, and you left Jamaica or live overseas, So you go run IMF. You go back to Jamaica. You probably can't run for the office. You probably can't run for the office at all. You probably can't. Nigel, you be like, go back to Jamaica and go to what they call IMF. You probably can't. You can't run for no JFF position. You can't run for anything because you got to be there for like 10 years, at least in the JFF. So they have restricted the ability. So what they have done is small-mindedness. I don't want to be JFF. It's small-mindedness because you're restricting the intellectual capital that you can source to help you run your business because you want to be in that position. You want your friends to be in that position. You can control it. And some of it is if you go into Jamaica Parliament, similar construct about how certain things work, right? So you are, because if you're a citizen, you're a citizen, you're a citizen.
See, in my opinion, and this is just my sole opinion, I don't want to beat the JFF on this one because I don't think it's just the JFF alone. I think this goes deeper because the JFFs, wherever the GenSec or whoever the party is, they have to be voted on to, return their seat, their office. And if you need certain votes from certain districts, you're going to have to curry favor with the group that's in that district. So I feel as if the JFF hands are kind of tied because if the district want their players so they can sell them and make a money, for lack of a better term, they're going to have to kind of capitulate somewhat because if you don't make this person happy, next time when there's an election, they're going to vote against me and therefore I don't have my seat and I can't do the work I'm doing. So I think it's scratching the surface, but I think it's much deeper than just, JFF.
Yeah, so it's a vicious cycle, right? And how do you break that cycle? So you're right. We normally are slave to our constituent, no matter where you are in the world. And what I've been told, and you had Rudolph on my channel, and he said this, which is his constituent want a quota system. And I understand why we have a quota system. No, people think you just cranky just no one on quota. But I understand why we have it, but I don't agree with it because it's discriminatory. My philosophy is find another way. Let's sit down and think about how better to do this. Don't put a quota in place. If you want, first of all, if you want the kids in Jamaica to be able to compete at the world level, you have to develop them to do so. You can't take some short-term view of saying, you know what, I'm have a quota to get them in the team and they go get 9 and 6, 3 and 3. Or they can get whatever. You can't do that because it's not helping them. Put together programs at the grassroots level. It will take you maybe 10 years, frankly, to get to a place where it's sustainable. It's going to take time. Maybe you have 4 years to see some results. You start with a 10-year-old, 14, 15, 16, under 20 World Cup, under 17 World Cup. You may see some progress. Probably got to start earlier than 10, but at least a 10-year-old who can learn and train and develop. And you put a very systematic, well-constructed program in place, island-wide, to do so. We just start having, and I heard Downswell said it's under 14. We've been running football in Jamaica since 1910. And in 2024, we start having coaches that cover a section that cover the whole island because it was just covering 3 or 4 parishes, right? We weren't having coaches we weren't having scouts who were covering each section of the island to make sure no child is left behind was a talent to play at the high level. That's ridiculous. That's the JFF supposed to own that. Is it good they're doing it now? Yes. But where were we all these years? Where was the technical director all these years doing this? Why wasn't this being done? It's inconceivable that we didn't have this. It's also inconceivable that we don't recruit well overseas, no matter what anybody tell you. It's local people who are doing it on the side and have databases that the JFF is now leveraging. They didn't go out on their own and do it. So that's when you give the JFF a hard time and they complain, I'm saying you're short-sighted. Are they doing some good things now? Yes, they're doing some good things. But these things should be in play already. And people say, well, it's not no time but the present. No better time than the present. That's not the way to go. But I understand what you're saying and I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I wish the individuals who always complain that there's not enough local base or whatever, explain the reason why you need all the local base or why is it just not the best player. Because at the end of the day, when you sit back, and this is one of the reasons they complain, said the stadium is not full. The product that we put in the field is not good. But if you put out all local player and you don't show up because the product is not good, and what do you want us to do? We want a good product, so we want the best players on the field. So I don't get the constant argument of there's not enough. Because the other day we had, which team did we play then? We had like about 14 JPL players and we barely won it. Everybody was complaining the product on the field wasn't good enough. Grim picked the wrong team. We had more than enough JPL. The product wasn't good and everyone complained. So what is it? Is it that we just like to complain? Are we finding a solution?
No, look, I think I don't think fans get enough credit about how informed they are. Look, Jamaican fans follow football over the world. They're informed by very informed football minds, and they leverage that intellect and that information to inform their view about how they view football, how they assess football, how they assess talent. They know a talented player when they see one. They don't need some coach who don't know the talent to come tell them what's talented. They know the talent when they see it. Are we always right? No, but I think we know enough to be dangerous, which is what you need, right? And therefore, most Jamaicans that I know want the best team on the field. Is there concern about enough local talent not necessarily getting to the national team and playing? Yes and no. As I've shown in this squad, we have a bunch of players here. They may not be on the island because they shouldn't be on the island if they're good enough. Let me read that, people. They should not be in Jamaica if they're good enough. Most countries, you look at any other part of the world, South America, Asia, for example, even Europe, some countries in Europe. If you're a Croatian, you want to play in the top 5 leagues in the world, right? If you are from Romania, you want to play in the top 5 in the world. If you're from Georgia, you want to play in the top 5 in the world. That's how it works, which is if I'm good enough, I want to be at the top of the pile, playing in those leagues, make more money, get more notoriety, improve my skills. I'm competing against the best. So when you see me play and I play well, you know I'm a very good player, right? They should not be in the JPL. They should not. And if they're in the JPL, that unless they're very young, they may not be good enough. Now, some people could be overseen, but those would be diamonds in the rough. So we shouldn't expect JPL players to be in the national team. We should not. Go ask Brazil. Because the coach in Brazil is saying going to bring in more local players, and people are talking about, what are you talking about? If they were good enough, they would have gone to Europe.
So, right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So when you play Caribbean Cup and you play the teams from MLS, it is your opportunity to show out to say, okay, I'm on an international stage. I'm going to show you what I can do, and therefore I should be able to move out of the country and grow my education in football. So when I come back to the national team, I am from the JPL. I show you a path. I am a better product today than I was yesterday.
Yep.
And the team is better. So I don't get this idea. I understand that football is local because we watch them from primary school to high school to the Costa Cup, Manning Cup, and then we see them but football has changed. That path is no longer there. You have to go out and get the international education, come back, because the players that you're playing against in 2-3 years, as Surinams of the world, the Trinidad, I don't know, Trinidad may be a little bit behind, but the other Caribbean islands who can now import diaspora players are importing them. So they're going to be good. So we have to make sure we stay on top of our game. And because you know what's going to happen? We don't educate ourselves. We don't move along. We get beat by a Caribbean team. Let's say, pick one. Let's say one of St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's say St. Kitts and Nevis. They're going to say, "Boy, we know good. We think Ghana road, everything mash up." It's just that I don't get what to stay ahead. You have to constantly think forward. And sometimes we just have limited mindset.
Yeah, look, I understand local people seeing some local players think they're talented and they should be in the national team. I understand that. But if they're talented enough, and maybe some of them don't have good agents or not play for the best club, but they're not going to be the majority. They're going to be the minority. People always get left back no matter what environment you're in, whether it's basketball or NFL. There's always some good player who don't get the opportunity they should have gotten or the notoriety they should have gotten. But in general, most of the time, the players who are good enough will migrate overseas, go play for an overseas club in different leagues, and they're the ones who are going to be in the national team, not the ones who are local. Because if you're local, you ain't making no money. Let me repeat that to people.
Yeah.
If you're local football in Jamaica and JPL, you ain't making no money. So why would you want to stay there? You're going to go where the money is, like you just see Nigel just did, go to the IMF. Go make some
Listen, we might call it, that's true. We might call it a brain drain, but you have to go where the money is so you can come back and improve the program. The more people go away, make the money come back, the program will improve because we're showing a path out of the local league. And that's the whole game.
Yeah. All right, Carla. I appreciate the call, Carla.
No, thanks, Frankie. Bye.
So, football guru, TikTok. That's probably 2 now. There's somebody else actually. So you come here spreading false rumors. You don't have to block people on here unless you trash Jamaica and JFF. I've only blocked one person on my channel since I've been here. The person was disrespectful to me in more than one forum. The person actually, and I didn't even know they were disrespectful to me in some forums. People called me. My phone was blowing up one day, and they clipped the information, sent it to me. Now, Football Guru, I always say this in my forum, which is, if we are respectful, I'm all for it. You and I don't agree on a lot of things, but please don't come here and spread false rumors and perspective. It's not appropriate, football. That's why people get banned, Football Guru. Now come on my channel and spread lies, because it's not okay. Okay? It's not okay. You ain't gonna get me upset this evening, but it's not okay, Football Guru. I've never banned you, and you've been coming to this forum with your pro JFF mindset, and it has nothing to do with Jamaica. Because people like you think you're the only Jamaicans. People like you, Football Guru, you think you're the only Jamaicans. And I've been engaging people in certain, I won't say who they are, but their direction of the conversation and their senior people in the Jamaican society, they believe the diaspora is toxic. They believe the diaspora only want overseas players to play. They believe the diaspora believe that they know everything about everything, and people in Jamaica don't know anything. That's their perspective. I don't agree with it, but they also want no help because they think they know everything about everything. So, Football Guru, you can come here, you cannot come here. I don't care if you're here or not. I'll be honest. If you never come back to my channel, I'm not losing any sleep. But don't come here and spread any rumor, because it's not right for you to do so. Because I never blocked you. Nor have I blocked TikTok, actually. And TikTok come in the chat, he started being negative from the minute he dropped, he started being negative. He just criticized Mason Greenwood, saying playing in inferior league, that's why I must score a goal. And you have to laugh to that mindset. Because you know what? Everybody knows Mason Greenwood's a brilliant footballer. So why would you say that about the kid? When he's scoring goal in La Liga, he scored goal in the Premier League, he scored for England junior team, he scored goals for his Man U reserve team or Man U junior team academy. He's been scoring goals all his life, right foot, left foot. Score 5 in why is not other people in League One scoring 5 goals in 3 games and tearing up the league and getting all the praise that he's getting? But that's how you and TikTok are. You're very negative, and you're very protective of the JFF, and it's your prerogative. But let me tell you this, Football Guru. If the JFF do things which are not appropriate, I'm going to call them out. If they do things which are very, very good, I'm going to laud them and give them the credit. And you can point out in a situation where I'm 100% negative in the JFF. But if they create so much negativity, then they have to be called out. As we would be hypocritical if we're YouTubers. We would be hypocritical not to call them out if they're not doing things the right way. Because our job here is to report information as we know it. Now, sometimes some people, it could even include me, may go overboard sometimes because, we get involved in some of these things and we get our feelings involved, which may not be right sometimes. But you act as if all we come here to do is beat the JFF. We weren't necessarily beating the JFF tonight. They came up in a couple of conversations because people called and asked certain questions. But my program tonight wasn't on the JFF. It was talking about Raheem. It was talking about controversies, money. And it was talking about the squad here and the composition of the squad. So we don't need the negative Football Girl. We don't need it. We're not having it tonight. No, he's a brilliant footballer. Brilliant footballer. So yes, Travis go. I believe Jerry should never take money from people in the diaspora because all you guys put it anyway when you all get to where you're trying. You should not take money from the diaspora because you all talk about it anyway. Talk about what? Nobody give the JFF any money. And by the way, Travis, let me just tell you, Travis. Nobody I know like to give away money, Travis. Let me just tell you that, Travis. Nobody I know like to give away money. They may give it because the right thing to do, but nobody like to give money. So when we send back remittance to Jamaica, nobody like to send it back, but you feel an obligation to do so. You like to give away money, Travis? And they shouldn't take money from us. So then, Travis, you're having the local view, aren't you, Travis? You're going back to your roots, Travis. You're showing your true colors, Travis. Don't do that, Travis. Try to be objective. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, Travis, but try to be objective, Travis. I know it's killing you to be objective. Try to be objective, Travis. We don't have any, Travis, we can't tell the JFF anything, We can talk to him mouth dry. I'm about to get dry now. I'm drink some water. Travis, they don't care what we say. The man tell us that Travis, they're not coming on YouTube anymore. They will only deal with traditional media. You know what traditional media reside, Travis? In Jamaica. They're not on traditional media outside Jamaica they want to talk to. You don't see the thing, Travis. They want to deal with things with people they can, and traditional media call them vultures, and say the president know him do. But you need to deal with your own, supposedly. So they want to deal with traditional media. Because some of the YouTubers are overseas, like myself. A number of them are overseas. They don't want to deal with us. But that's the thing, Travis, which is you want the money, Travis, but you don't want to deal with the people in the diaspora. See the thing, Travis? You want the money, Travis, but you don't want to deal with them. Them for go away. That's what you're saying, no, Travis. Them for go away. They never take their money, but you are take the money, though, Travis. Tell people what's you sending money, sending no money, Travis. Okay, no one not to do diaspora. That's what you're saying, no, Travis. You can't have no, Travis. Because then you're being selfish. You want the money from overseas, Travis, but JFF shouldn't take the money, then get it. But you want the money, Travis. I understand you. I can't think of anything that changed. They have more money, so they are more efficient. Football guru, go look up what efficient mean. Please go look up what efficient mean, football guru. Because you have more money doesn't mean you're more efficient. You may be more effective, you're not more efficient. All right? So go look up what efficient means. I love use words. Just like Green, I use what them use. I forget what word them use. Look at the meaning for them use the word. They be more efficient, but then I'm not even sure they're more effective actually. They be making more money because those same English-based players or English-born players were involved in winning competition, in winning games that then allow us to go to Copa, allow us to go to Gold Cup and finish at good level. Let's go to Nation League. Same people them who now make them push money for Jamaica. I helping them make money for Jamaica. No, you're selfish, Travis. Going to the match, you're selfish because you watch a game and enjoy yourself. You're selfish because you want to take diaspora money, but you don't want nothing to do diaspora. So you're selfish. You're confusing two to Travis. When you go game, Travis, you enjoy yourself. You go watch match because you love the football. That nothing to do with nobody else. You're selfish. You want to take diaspora money, but you don't want diaspora to get no credit, and you want JFF to deal with them. So why should you get the money and JFF not get the money, Travis? You're selfish. Right? You say something, Travis, me have to laugh. The Adidas contract came first. What does that have to do with the slice of bread? What does that have to do with the slice of bread? How do you think they get Adidas contract? Adidas get them money because they want to get them money. Them get them money to look on the team and what the team can do and the team can promote the team. When sponsors give you money, football guru, it's what you can do for them. They will look at the team, the composition of the team, and will the team do well on the world stage so their brand can be, they can sell more sneakers and more jerseys. You know what, football guru, I stop talking to them because someone will just, so sitting on the wheels and now think. No, it has to do with this, Travis. You just said, hey, Travis, you want to go back to your statement, Travis? And Travis, I can go back to your statement, Travis. Let me go back to your statement, Travis, since you have a short memory. I'm trying to find it. I believe the JFF should never take money from some of you people in diaspora, we know call some of you people, because you all talk about it anyway. Talk about what? What are we talking about? What money are we talking about? What money have we give to the JFF to be talking about it? You're the one denigrating diaspora people, Travis, and then you cop innocence. Like what have to do with your football? It has to do with you and what you just said. You're bashing people in diaspora. Because you're saying they're talking about money. What money are we talking about we get to the JFF? What we have basically said is this. You can't have a strategy to reach out to us. Because when you reach out to us, you want our money, but you don't want us to be involved in any issue reform. We can't even talk about the football. We can't talk about anything. Because we're not on the island as you could think about it. Travis, diaspora fans or you can't tell Jeff what to do. Don't get it confused, Travis. Because in Jamaica, you can't tell them what to do. They may do what their constituent, which is the 12 parishes want them to do, or the 14 parishes want them to do, so they can get their votes. They don't give a damn about you and what you want to think, Travis. So you see that things are just diaspora people. And we're not dictating to anybody. We make suggestions, Travis. Don't get it confused. We make suggestions. You can take the suggestion, you not take it. Or we observe things and we come in and talk about it. Right? So when you have your view, and in terms of your view, you're very localized, Travis, about how you think. You don't give a damn about diaspora, Travis. All you think about is what's on the island. The players on the island, what's on the island. You don't give a damn about anybody in diaspora. So I'm very surprised you come to talk about diaspora sending you money because you don't care about people in diaspora. No, JF don't give a damn about diaspora. I'm not as good as who? Football guru. Football guru. I'm gonna stop talking to you because you're. I can't argue with you. I can't argue with football guru. When we're having a dialogue, football guru, keep the dialogue on track and make the dialogue make sense. Don't start going to the gutter. So I'm gonna leave the gutter. I'm gonna leave you in the gutter. Stay in the gutter. Stay in the gutter. I'm gonna leave you in the gutter, football guru, because you're taking this to a different level. We're keeping this on football and JFF. We're not making these things personal. Don't make it personal. You don't know my background, so don't make it personal. Do not make it personal. There's no need to make it personal. Let's stick to the topic at hand. Let's keep it professional, okay? You have now showed me who you are, so I will no longer engage you because your level of conversation and the level you are, you should remain there. We won't have the conversation anymore, football guru. I'm not putting up any comments because you're at a level where you should remain. Stay where you are. If you think that's banning you from my channel, I actually don't care. We keep the conversation at a certain level. We're trying to be professional, and you're taking it to the gutter, and we're not going to the gutter with you. We're gonna leave you. We're gonna leave you where you are. Okay? We're gonna leave you where you are so you can stay there. I'm gonna close up by saying this. I hope the JFF is extremely successful. Because if they're successful, that means the football is successful. That means we're working good football. I hope those kids in the under 14 transition really well to the under 17. But most importantly, I hope they get the requisite coaching of the JFF, improve the coaching program, get people accredited, get them to the level they need to get to, because the coaching is part of the problem. In any kids, it's the coaching, right? Of the JFF, go out and build relationships with different organizations who have done things well, they can leverage off to help them. I hope the JFF, given the results of the FIFA developmental program, what McLaren keeps talking about, that they're learning from what they know, they know what the deficiencies are, and they're addressing them. I've been trying my best to get that document without success. It's my understanding that document has been circulated to stakeholders. I guess those are coaches and not even players, probably coaches in clubs and coaches in some of the parishes. So if that's the case, that's a good thing. And I'm hoping that a comprehensive strategy, vision, and program has been put in place to help the football program going forward. I would love to see all these kids on the island get an opportunity to do really, really well, because they deserve the opportunity, but they can't do it by themselves. Just like I talk about kids and the parents need to be in the household to help them with their schoolwork or to oversee them. It's the same concept in sports, people. Parents have to get involved in kids' lives, help the kids develop, oversee them, talk to their coaches, make sure they're doing the right thing, but they have to have the right coach who can help them mentally and physically to achieve their objective. Right? Yeah, and I know Triple E, but it is what it is, Triple E. We all can communicate the same, right? My hope is that these kids will be successful. I don't care if the team has 22 players who are born on the island. I don't care if the team has no player born on the island. But what I don't want to see is the kids on the island get left behind. What I don't want to see is kids on the island getting 15 love in 3 games. What I don't want to see is kids feeling disheartening and feel like they have no pathway to the national team. What I don't want to see is a quota system, and the quota system preventing kids who are citizens of Jamaica to play for the island. What I don't want to see is some young kid in England who's a brilliant footballer with potential, who can play for Jamaica, left by the wayside like a Sterling, or a Calvin Phillips, or a Ben Godfrey, not being considered by Jamaica, and they go on to play for England, and have the ability to play for England. And we could have gotten them to help the team. What I would love to see is the JFF improve the program to the point where it can compete on the world stage, where we don't have to argue about diaspora versus local, where we're scratching our head and we're mad that we can't get, we have players that cover off every single position, 2 and 3 and 4 players, and we complain about 11 in the team who should be in the team because the other 11 is better, but they are playing on the world stage. We want what we see with our track athletes, where we have 4 or 5 of them, 110-meter hurdlers, where we may have a Parchment or a Levy or a Broadwell or a what's the name, McCallum. All these, we have 4 or 5 world class, and you know what? It's a fight to get 3 into the team because we only have 3 places, and we don't care if they're local or overseas because they are citizens. That's what we want. That's what we aspire to. The JFF has the governance and the responsibility and accountability for football on the island. They need to step up. I don't care what football go want to say. I don't care what TikTok want to say. I don't care what the JFF want to say. They need to do better overall. Have they done some good things? Yes. But they're not a world-class organization, and we want them to be world-class. And don't give me this resources thing about not being world-class. You can be world-class without resources. I don't care what anybody says. You can be world-class without resources. Is resources restrictive? Yes. Can you do everything that the major countries do? Yes. Can you compete with the US with resources? Heck no. Because they're done generating hundreds of millions of dollars for their football program. But you can be smart. You can be humble. You can be confident. You can be proactive. You can be progressive. You can do all these things. You can compromise. You can try to create harmony, not dissension, to allow every one of us to come together and help support the program. Cranky don't want to be involved in Jamaica. I'm not trying to be a Jamaican football guru or everybody think that Cranky want to be in the JFF. Are you out of your mind? I'm retired. You guys don't get that. I've been complaining about spending so much time here. I don't have time for myself. You think I care about being involved with the JFF? If they ask me to be an advisor, I would probably consider it, but I don't care. JFF can't pay me. Let me repeat that, people. Because you know, see, to understand, Travis, young football guru, JFF can't pay me. If Jamaican government can't pay, why me? The JFF can't pay me. I'm gonna want no money. I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for payment. I'm retired. This is my fun thing I'm doing. I'm hoping to add value. So do you people in the chat like Travis sometime and football group, get to your head. I'm not looking to tell JFF what to do. I may throw ideas out there. I may challenge certain things they're doing. I may not agree with them, but I'm not looking for money from the JFF. I'm not looking for a job from the JFF. I'm looking for a job from anyone else. When you guys trying to attack Cranky like football guru is, trying to say me not good at speed. I'm not in a competition with speed. He does what he does. I do what I do. I'm retired. You gonna compete with me in retirement? I'm not competing with anybody for retirement. I'm relaxed here, enjoying myself, doing some YouTube thing, trying to get some likes, which are going up, which I appreciate. But don't get this twisted. I want the football program. I enjoy football. I enjoy Jamaica football more than I enjoy EPL, even though I'm a big Arsenal fan. And I want Jamaica to do well. So don't get it twisted, football guru or TikTok or Travis. Don't get it twisted. All I want is the country to do well. But I must say this again. I don't care where the players were born because they're Jamaicans. I'm not going to be divisive as Jamaicans. I'm not going to be divisive as Jamaican. I want the country to do well. I am not going to pick A versus B versus C. That's not what it is. Claudine. Exactly, Claudine. Can't pay us. That's why we left. So we can go make some real money. But it's not about a money thing, right? It's about what I want us to do is what I see like happen with Israel. Where no matter where you're in the world, you're Jamaican, you're accepted and you're brought into the fold. And you operate almost like one. Doesn't mean you always have to agree, because Israelis disagree, don't always agree. Some people don't against Netanyahu, others are for Netanyahu, right? Some people believe they should get out of Gaza. Some people think they should stay in Gaza. But at least they're all Israelis. And they don't have this thing about American-born Israelis and these are born Israelis. Because the U.S. give them about $5 billion a year. And people here send tons of money back to Israel, just like how Jamaica send money. And even though Israel is a rich country, by the way, Jamaica is not a rich country. But then let me stop me preaching, people. Let me just say this. I have nothing against the JFF. The JFF does a wonderful job and are successful. If they want to ban YouTubers, as I heard JD say this morning, then they ban the YouTuber them, your business. But don't be a hypocrite and give access to the traditional media because they're in Jamaica and because you can't manage them when they're calling you vultures. And when they tell your president, saying, no, nobody to retire, and they say, inefficient, you're ineffective, you should have an oversight body. Don't be a hypocrite and give one group access and ban the other group, because you know what? It's easier to ban the other group. And because some of them live overseas. Don't be a hypocrite. Be consistent. If you're ban media, ban everybody. Let me say this again, JFF. If you're ban media, because everybody criticizing JFF, don't get in your feelings, ban everybody. I have no problem with that. If you ban everybody, me fine. But don't use the traditional media for your own purpose. When them cuss you, you still just hold your head down and shame, and you still go deal with them. Then you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You want bad YouTubers. I know all YouTubers are not the same, and some of them may go overboard, and I could be one of them. But so does the traditional media sometimes. And no YouTubers come to your program half naked. That's what I have to say. None of them. No, Eagle Republic is not the worst thing. Bibi did well for himself and his family. I just think that in Jamaica, I understand the need to export players. That's how clubs survive sometimes. But I don't think we've explored all the means that is at our disposal to help the football. That's all sometimes we're talking about, right? How do you develop the players enough? You got to go develop your coaches. It needs to be a long-term plan. I would have expected JF to come and say, you know what? We have a 10-year plan. And here we're going to break them down to segments. Here's the short term, medium term, and long term. Short term is World Cup. Short term is Nation League. Short term is something we're doing here. But we have a medium term plan and long term plan. We have a vision, we have a strategy, we have processes, and we're going to put them in place to get us where we get to. That's what we need to hear. They're talking to everybody. They're talking to sponsors, media, fans, everyone. But no, they don't do that. They say, can't talk to YouTubers, they're not toxic. We talk to traditional media, and traditional media don't have no time for them. You give them about 5 minutes. And we still only talk to them for about 4 hours. And we them one ban. Nonsense. Anyway, people, let me get out of Dodge before I get upset by some people, as I normally do. Claudine, did you hit the like button, Claudine? You have to call you out tonight, because I know yesterday. You come in sometime and sit down and wait for me to complain and hit the like button. But anyway, people, I appreciate everybody in here, and I appreciate you. I may be back tomorrow, or I may not be, but I'll definitely be back Thursday and Friday because I'm doing a watch along. And I'd love for you guys to be part of the watch along. So, come join because it's always a fun time. And it's more fun if we win, people. All right? So I'm going to say good night to everyone. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And peace out. Thanks a lot. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Frankie Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed. Want. Heed. Want. Heed them.